Hello and welcome to a Labor Day exclusive here on World Class Bullshitters. Tonight, Dion and I are going to record a drunk commentary podcast for arguably the greatest sequel of all time, The Empire Strikes Back.
Boom.
Now, Dion, before we start, where do you rank Empire in your list of all the Star Wars films?
Ooh, for me, it's tied with number one. Return of the Jedi is my favorite, but as far as number one, I go back and forth all the time between Return of the Jedi and Empire. I love both these movies. Empire definitely is the most complete movie as far as, for me, one of the few perfect movies ever made. So it's tied for number one if that means anything.
Oh, it means a lot, especially coming from a World Class Bullshitter. Like I said, I give the first two Star Wars movies 10s out of 10s. I love them both. First one's still my favorite. This one has a little bit of lag, and there's a few points that I would cut out, but we'll get to that when we get into the commentary. So, if you're listening to this right now, I have good news. It's World Class Bullshitter, so you know it's going to be a good time. But if you'd like, you can listen to this as a commentary track by getting your timestamp set to 0, or you can listen to this as a podcast. So, either way, this is entertainment that you can consume. So, if you're going to listen with us, get your timestamp set to 0 and press play right now. Lucasfilm.
Yeah, baby.
When it actually meant something. Alright, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Still the best movie theme of all time. This is the first one where it's slightly like a march into battle.
For sure. I mean, I think they really, obviously, all of them are, but especially with the New Hope, it's not super fitting because it's the first entry, and then Return of the Jedi, you're used to it. But yeah, definitely as far as of all seven of the movies, it fits the best with this one by far.
Yeah, I'm going to stay off the Episode 7 hate train too much during this podcast, but I'd like to say that the Episode 7, like the opening music, sounded hollow, and like these all have so much vibrato and life, and it's action-packed, and you're like in the fight. That one sounded hollow and lame, and it felt like a shell, just like that whole movie. So, fuck that movie, and if you feel like I feel about it, listen to our review on the channel. Back to Empire Strikes Back, though. The evil Lord Darth Vader, obsessed with finding young Luke Skywalker, has dispatched thousands of remote probes into the far reaches of space. ... I think that's one of the first times I've actually read that.
No, it's definitely, it's to the point now where I don't have to read it to really know what it says. But that's just, that's just me.
Well, that makes you a better Star Wars fan, because I do not know any of the crawls by heart.
You know what? I don't know all of them by heart. I know Return of the Jedi, probably, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, I probably don't know it by heart anymore. But Empire, I know the gist of it. New Hope, I don't know by heart. Phantom, the rest of them I know pretty well. No, I don't know. I take that back. Attack of the Clones, I don't know that well either.
All right, this is the second Star Wars movie to start out with a Star Destroyer in space.
Boom.
But the effects in this movie are spot on. It's funny how 36-year-old model work looks better than modern CGI.
Not only that, but this is definitely one of the Star Wars movies that holds up, where they didn't need that much input to change the movie.
Yeah, I'll say this early on before I get too drunk. This is the only Star Wars movie where the special edition doesn't ruin it. I actually prefer the special editions of Empire because it doesn't really change much story-wise. It just changes a few cosmetic things, which isn't a bad thing.
But it adds, obviously, we'll get to here in a minute, the scene with the Wampa. But other than that, it doesn't change any of the integral scenes in the fucking movie at all.
The Wampa looks better than Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, God, yeah.
I was going to say, too, a lot of directors still use the actual models, too, instead of CGI. Right? To this day.
Very few, actually, do. Most people, yeah, they were a lot of
seems like
movies.
It looks more real, even with today's CGI. It looks more real to use little models.
Well, technically, it is more real, because you're using
Well, I mean, even model. It looks more real.
Right. I mean, a lot of people now, depending on the movie, depending on the director, rely on CGI for effects, which is, weird because CGI looks horrible in the wrong hands.
Do you think Luke Skywalker looks noticeably different from the first film due to the real-life car wreck?
He looks more noticeably different in the scenes on Hoth for sure, because you can see his face is just way older. It got a lot more wear and tear on it. But then when he gets to Dagobah, he looks, I don't know if it's because of the makeup and everything, but they made it a point to make him look like Luke, especially when he first gets to Dagobah, looks like Luke from A New Hope.
Yeah, here we go. This scene, the first time I saw this movie, my cousin covered my eyes because she thought it would be too scary to see this.
When we watched it for the first time, my mom looked over at us because she thought, because I reacted, I thought the movie was over from the jump. I was like, oh, I was like, fuck. I was like, no! You know, but hey.
All right, we're inside Echo Base. I have a couple Snowspeeder toys. Never had a Tauntaun toy because I think they're retarded. But I have that Han Solo and Hoth gear. I have multiple.
Well, that's because you know as well as I do, your Tauntaun will freeze before it reaches the first marker.
Then I'll see you in hell. Yeah! Sorry, I've seen this movie way too much.
No such thing.
It's funny, for as critical as I am of this movie, I genuinely do love it. I don't
well, at
have
this
the
point,
same...
you're picking fucking needles out of haystacks. That's we know that you love it. It's just like when you've seen it 1,000 times, you look for something new. That's why it kind of makes me mad when people shit on Empire and A New Hope. It's like, oh well, it has this. Oh, you can see the dust coming off of the lightsabers. Like, yeah, it was made in the 70s. It's something you gotta fucking forgive at some point.
Yeah, that's just, to me, that's the wrong type of criticism, and I think that's actually like stupid criticism because you can't actually find a deeper flaw. That's like when you try to take certain movies and go give them a deeper meaning when they genuinely don't have it. Like a lot of the prequels aren't as deep as certain people try to make them out to be. They're just flashy and superficial. This has a lot going on, like we're about to see right here. The relationship between Han Solo and Princess Leia has blossomed into something. I'm sure a lot of stuff has happened off screen that we haven't seen, but it's implied. And here we go, an important scene right here. If you watch A New Hope, the original cut, and you watch this, that's 2 films back to back. You know that Jabba the Hutt is gunning after Han Solo, and it makes the reveal in Return of the Jedi that much sweeter.
But not only that, but you brought up a good point about the the touch on the relationship between Han and Leia. Not only that, this scene touches on the relationship between Han and the Rebellion. He feels so strongly about what's happening. He's like, okay, I can't just leave. I got to go and tell the general I have to leave.
General Riken?
Yeah, Riken. They all say, hey, he goes, hey, you're a great soldier. I hate to lose you. You know, he has developed a relationship with the Rebellion. These dudes respect him. They admire him. And not only that, they expect him to lead them into battle, so much so that he goes, I hate to lose you.
And they didn't have to do it over 7 goddamn movies.
Thank you very much.
I think this is Princess Leia at her cutest. How do you feel?
I can't, dude. Return of the Jedi.
The gold bikini?
The gold bikini, and like I said in our last commentary, which you can find on World Class Bullshitters, the long hair in Return of the Jedi when she's with the Ewoks, that Carrie Fisher, just you can't deny her, bro. You can't deny her.
I think the cocaine had started to take a toll on her, and she's a little too thin, and she looks a little dead-eyed.
I mean, cocaine thin isn't bad thin.
That's true. Here we go. Here's our first introduction to R2 and C-3PO. Not really that important to the plot of this movie. You could write them out if you had to.
Yeah,
they're good for certain things, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said in the last commentary, I keep wanting to say playthrough, but in the last commentary,
let's play Star Wars.
Let's play Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back.
Super Nintendo.
It's a really hard game, but I feel like this is definitely the movie where C-3PO and R2 are the viewers. It's them being swept up outside of a few scenes. It's them being swept up in this adventure. They're the ones that I feel like people can relate to the absolute most, because it's, 2 people who are not people being the relative term, but they're 2 dudes who, like I said, arguably don't have a lot of traits that are unique to their situation, and they get swept up in this fucking adventure. R2 goes with Luke, and C-3PO is your view into, Han, Leia, and Chewie.
I agree with you that they're a little bit in this one. Definitely in the first one, they are definitely the viewer's eyes. This one, they take a back seat, because I think when you watch this, you've already been introduced to the world of Star Wars. You don't necessarily need that guide into this universe. But here we go, Dion. Here's your immortal line. Your Tauntaun will freeze before it reaches the first
baby.
marker.
Yeah. Love it. He is the fucking man.
Han Solo is really cool in this movie. I wouldn't say he's at his most heroic, because really, at the end of the day, he's just saving his own ass. The first movie, I think he's at his most heroic.
Well, yeah, for sure. I don't know. I mean, arguably, you can make the case being tortured and not complaining about it's pretty fucking heroic. And then
Yeah, but the thing is, like, in the last one, he could have got away scot-free with all that money and never had to be bothered again. He came back to save Luke because he knew it was the right thing to do. To me, that's the definition of heroism. Like, doing the right thing even if you don't want to, even if it's not directly going to help you.
right.
In this one, he's, like, on the run. Like, he didn't really have a chance to leave yet, so that's why he's kind of stuck with everyone. Like, I don't know. I like it. Look, Han Solo's my favorite character.
No. Yeah,
I'm just saying. I think in the first one he's the most heroic.
You don't have to preempt it with that. I know how you truly feel. The viewers by now know how you truly feel. At this point, it's you and me talking about the movie like we're picking it apart, man. And obviously, we're not going to pick it apart because it's, like I said, one of the few ever perfect movies made in the history of cinema. But trust me, you ain't got to tell me, man. I'm all on board.
Now, a lot of times, this movie came out and wasn't praised as much as the first one when it came out. And there's a bunch of movies that aren't as appreciated when they're new. Do you think there's any modern movies out right now that you think will get more praise the older they get?
Oh, for sure. I think as far as do you mean like movies made in the last couple of years, or in our entire?
Well, like Watchmen, for example. I know you like Watchmen. I know Dustin loves Watchmen, but the general public does not like Watchmen. Do you think time's going to make people think it's a masterpiece, or do you think they're just going to kind of forget about it? I think Empire, is now considered a masterpiece.
I think that Watchmen's a great example. I think as it goes on, especially once the superhero mantra dies down, it will be one of those movies appreciated. I think that movies like The Dark Knight will definitely be appreciated. I think movies like Killing Them Softly with Brad Pitt will definitely be a movie that gets appreciated. I think that there are a lot of movies, especially now, The Revenant. I think as far as comedies, 22 Jump Street, there are a lot of movies that we've made that will eventually go down as being fantastic films and very helpful to whatever genre that they're in.
So this is R2-D2's first use of a sensor scope. That was a toy in the 80s.
It was a toy up until the 90s too. I know there was when you can get the remote control, not the remote control, but the R2 that you can hit with the button.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your mic cut out.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
That one was connected, but there was when you get the regular R2.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then the one that didn't have the antenna out that you could hit. That one was pretty legit. And I think that was available until I think my mom got me the one without the antenna in 1998. I want to say.
Yeah, Star Wars toys used to be a lot easier to find. Nowadays, you can barely find them. Not because they're so sought after, they just have shitty distribution. All right, we got Han on Hoth on his Tauntaun looking for Luke. So they get to Norway, they have shit weather, and everyone goes back to bed because they're all snowed in. They film Luke Skywalker at the doorway of the hotel in Norway.
Yep, I was just about to say, man, that the beginning, this part of the filming was not natural, not just natural, but an actual disaster. One of the reasons why George Lucas was so happy to make Irvin Kershner be the one to direct the fucking movie.
Here's John Ratzenberger, the guy from Cheers.
Yep.
He's also in Toy Story and every Pixar movie. You think Pixar could make a Star Wars movie?
You know what? To be honest, no. Because Pixar is good with original stuff. To make a Star Wars movie, they'd have to rely on so much material. Especially with Admiral Thrawn being put back into the universe. With all that material, I don't think Pixar could pull it off.
I think we're going to see a Pixar Marvel movie before, everything's said and done.
Again, I don't think so. I think that Pixar is going to be when they're coming with their original shit and they're doing their original movies and they hire their own writers and all that stuff and they're picking up screenplays from other writers. They're fantastic, but I think you cannot trust Pixar because again, if it's not their own property, I think that they would mess it up. I really do.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm just throwing it out there. I honestly think Disney will use corporate synergy and we'll have all that good shit where, you'll see an Incredibles Marvel crossover. All right, here we go. First appearance of the Spirit of Obi-Wan Kenobi. From what I've read online, Obi-Wan came back for free because he made so much money off the first Star Wars movie. He willingly came back to the next two essentially for free.
Well, plus he just hated Star Wars so much.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, what they offer him, like 4% of the profits or some small number like that? and it ended up being the highest grossing movie of ever.
Yeah, man, I think it was 5. I thought that was 5% that he signed on for, and he ended up being just monsterly rich because it wasn't just A New Hope. It was the franchise overall, wasn't it?
I don't know, because I'm one of those people. I firmly believe that only the first movie was meant to be made, and then it blew up, and then they made more.
No, yeah. I mean, you and I are both of that, because it was very clear that it was only because 20th Century Fox didn't fucking believe in George Lucas. They're kind of just like, okay, if it gets made, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
All right. Oh, the Tauntaun froze. Did they make it to the first marker?
I don't know. Probably passed it, but not only that, but you see Han Solo physically, okay, here's this. Here's my buddy. Tauntaun, my buddy.
Now here,
he's like, okay, boom, I got it.
Now this is going to disprove everyone that uses this argument of the Force and the lightsaber is a cipher for the Force. Anyone can wield a fucking lightsaber. Han Solo is wielding a lightsaber. He cut open the Tauntaun guts, and he was able to wield the lightsaber effectively. Same thing with General Grievous in Episode 3. He killed Jedis. I'm just saying, he used that shit to wipe out Jedis. The lightsaber is a tool. It is nothing connected to the Force. It just makes Episode 7 that much dumber with this whole Maz Kanata bullshit.
Well, not only that, to prove your point, I'm about to blow a lot of motherfuckers' mind. I know that you probably thought about it the minute I started this sentence, but that's the exact same lightsaber from Episode 7.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that it was, it's the Force. No. Han Solo used the exact... the Force knew that he was going to help Luke. No, it didn't. The Tauntaun passed out and died. That wasn't like a planned thing. How would the Force know to fucking, let me go on for 2 seconds for Han Solo?
No, the lightsaber is just a tool, and Han Solo has seen Luke use it before, so he just used it. It's nice though that a movie
if Han Solo's smart enough to put his buddy in the body of a dead being, he knows how to turn on a fucking lightsaber.
Well, and the nice thing too is they didn't have an exposition line where it goes, Han goes, oh my god, this is Luke's lightsaber, the weapon of a Jedi. It cuts things. Maybe I'll use this to open up. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it happens. That's the problem with many movies today, because your fucking audience is so retarded, because they've been, they all have short attention spans. It's like, I want this gratification now. They can't put 2 and 2 together. I wonder if the movies we've watched in the last couple years have made us dumber.
No, I don't think that fans have gotten dumber. I think that Hollywood has. Obviously.
Oh, I think fans have gotten a lot dumber. You need to meet some of the people I've met.
I think especially with the growth of the internet. Fans finding, these fan theories, fans from our generation going back and creating whole new fan theories. I think the audience has overall gotten smarter. What the problem is, movies like Episode 7, they assume that we're so dumb, and then they literally copy other movies or come up with dumb sequels just to get fans to come back.
But if fans were so smart, they would pick up on that and they wouldn't support it. I think you said about the growth of the internet. But this is
something that's new to this generation.
I would say it's newer to this generation, because
definitely not.
With Star Wars, it is for sure. We've never really look at Episodes 1 through 3
I don't know, man.
are bad movies.
The prequels are a prime example.
I'm trying to say that they're dumb. They're bad movies, but they're trying to be more, and they fail because you're of the mind that Star Wars movies are sometimes for kids, sometimes not. I think they're for everybody. Episodes 1 through 3 are talking about trade deals and negotiations and bigger themes. I think George Lucas was trying to grow as a creator, and he failed on the execution, but at least he's trying to do more. And then Episode 7, and people were praising it because it's so good. Anyway, here we go. This scene right here illustrates the fact that Luke and Leia were never meant to be brother and sister from the beginning. It started out as a love triangle. It had drama. There's romance. That was a beer burp.
That was a burp for sure.
That was a serious beer burp. But this is a great line right here. Scruffy looking nerf herder. Scruffy looking. Han Solo, this is his best costume, I think. The fucking Bespin gear is what they call it.
Mark to get her all riled up like that, huh, kid?
Yeah. There we go. Chewbacca. Now, this is a little awkward when you watch Return of the Jedi.
Listen, and for those of you who happen to be listening to our channel who don't know, this is fact. They did not change the I'm Your Father thing until post-production. So even if you are the fan that it was always supposed to be that, when they filmed the movie, the actors and the people who were filming the movie at that time did not mean for them to be brother and sister. That was, even if you believe that George Lucas wrote it, no. when they wrote the actual movie and filmed it, they were never supposed to be brother and sister. If you have a feeling, he says, I always known you wouldn't have kissed your fucking sister, bro. I've always known a lot of shit, but none of that leads me to kiss my sister on the mouth.
No, thank God.
It led me to make a baby, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, not with your sister. Just going to clarify that for the audience. Rogues 10 and 11 to Station 38. Here we go. We got the Imperial Probe Droid again. This is a cool-ass design.
Scout droid?
Yeah, the Probe Droid.
He's awesome. That's what I love about this part is, again, this movie, you could arguably say this movie is all about Han and Luke, because so much so how smart Han and Chewie are. Like, they go to fake a probe droid. That's awesome. And then Han hits it and kills it.
Well, remember, it must have had self-destruct because he didn't hit it so hard. His line.
Right. I'm saying, for practical purposes, their whole point was to distract and then obviously disable it.
Now,
and then
you said this is Han and Luke's movie. This is Darth Vader's movie, dude. This is all about Darth Vader. He's the hero. He's the villain. He's the protagonist, antagonist, the main character. This is all about him, and we're about to be introduced to him.
They make it a point to showcase Luke and Han versus Darth Vader.
No, this movie really is though. Okay, let's see who gets the most screen time. It's probably Darth Vader.
It's comparable at least between Darth and Luke.
It's just a Darth Vader Luke Skywalker dichotomy, but there's Han. As much as I love Han Solo, he is a secondary character to this film. You could have written him out.
God, I would hug you angrily right now. It's definitely the three of them are the primary characters.
See, I don't agree, man. This is all about Luke becoming a Jedi. Darth Vader's trying to catch him and turn him to the dark side. Han, Leia, and the rest of the rebellion are the kind of
Leia specifically, more so Han, because he tortures Han. He doesn't torture Leia.
Yeah, but he could have. Meaning, if Luke wouldn't have arrived on Cloud City by the time he did, Leia may have been next,
But if you're a bad guy, who are you going to torture first to draw someone out? Especially if you think they have a mystical connection, you torture the woman, for sure. But he tortures Han. Again, this is my own theory.
But
obviously,
here's the thing, Dion. He tried to use those types of things on Leia in the first movie. It didn't work. Remember, her resistance to the mind probe is something that's been difficult.
Draw someone out. He wasn't doing
But the thing is, he's interacted with her before to torture her. It doesn't work. He knows that. So he went for Han Solo. That's why he went first.
He knows that he can't torture her to get information from specifically her. He doesn't. He probably hasn't done this since they eradicated the Jedi. So
hold on. Let's get to that scene when we get to the end of the movie. We're passing up really important shit. For example, General Pierce is in the James Bond movie. That guy that just walked by was Ralph McQuarrie, who designed everything. And the guy that plays Admiral Ozzel, the dude with the shitty mustache, plays Hitler in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yep. Which is the reason why Steven Spielberg went back and got him.
It's a good choice. All right, we got 2-1B, the medical droid. I never bought that toy because he was retarded. Luke Skywalker in the Snowspeeder gear. I have a couple of those figures. They're good toys. Now here we go. Coming up is the scene where the love triangle hits its emotional peak, because
I never thought it was because of that. I thought it was because of their emotions with each other.
You'll never see Luke, Han, and Leia together again in this movie.
Right. Not until
We'll see them together until Return of the Jedi, where Han and Leia have already been established as like an item, and Luke's she doesn't have those feelings for him anymore. Now, see, the reason I say this is the emotional peak, because even to the end of Return of the Jedi, Han still thinks she has those feelings. Because remember, he goes, "It's Luke, isn't it?" See, there you go, right there. That emotional phase.
Right. So are you saying it's more so on Han's part or mutually between the two?
I'm saying, here's how I feel. Han wants Leia, and she thinks she likes Luke more, so he's pissed off, but he won't show it. And Luke's kind of like riding on a cloud right now, like, hey, I'm a hero. I destroyed the Death Star. The princess likes me. Can't stop me, Han Solo. That's where I'm coming from. And there's the Executor, the superstar.
That makes sense.
Now, see, when I first saw this movie, I didn't know what the hell Darth Vader was in. And up until this point, I still thought Darth Vader was a robot.
No, I think that was definitely... They don't really clarify that until Nita comes back in and he's putting his helmet back on. I think up until that point, they knew, people assumed he was a robot until the scene where he put his helmet back on. That was specifically to show you that he definitely was the Jedi. So you feeling that was part of the plan.
You want to hear some bullshit?
Of course I do.
I'm looking at my 6-pack of beer, and it's missing a bottle.
And you didn't drink one already?
I drank one, but there's an empty slot. So either I dropped a beer or I bought a 5-pack like an idiot.
I highly doubt you're an idiot. You and I have bought alcohol together.
Yeah, I check every fucking bottle. Listeners
Literally.
out there.
You've done that when we've bought booze together. You specifically, I remember not this past New Year's, the years before. I thought it was weird at the time, but you specifically said, "Do we have all the bottles?" I was like, "What the fuck do you mean by that?"
Yeah, I'm one of those people. All right, we got the Rebel Alliance,
Which is very important for Leia's character. This is establishing that the Alliance trusts her so much they let battle groups listen to her orders.
To me, she's the leader of the rebellion. Han Solo's kind of just there doing his own thing, and Luke's off. Luke's essentially a soldier that's half in the battle, half training to be a Jedi. So I think Leia's the leader of the Resistance.
I'm totally with that.
And
totally.
the thing is, man, she's not perfect. She gets her ass captured. She gets hurt. She's wrong. She's not perfect. She's not Rey from The Force Awakens.
But yeah, I mean, you arguably could say she's the leader of the rebellion. You see it in Episode 4. I hate calling it that. New Hope, when she gets back to
call it Episode 4
Yavin.
or New Hope, it's the same thing.
Oh, I hate calling it Episode 4. I hate myself for it. But when he goes, I feared the worst. You have a dude who clearly is a high-ranking official in the rebellion. And he goes, I feared the worst. She is an integral part of the rebellion. Even as an 18-year-old, she's fucking
There's the second woman in Star Wars.
Ion Cannon.
Bria Farron or whatever her fucking name is.
Yeah.
The only reason I know half these characters' names are because of the toys. Okay,
Nothing
how
wrong with that
important
at
are the Star Wars toys to your fandom of Star Wars?
They are so important. I told you that I had an AT-AT Walker,
Same here.
and then the only thing I missed from Episode 5 was the actual Luke figure that came. You had to buy separately because with the AT-AT Walker they had the little the suction harpoon thing that you had to go up with it. I didn't have a Luke Skywalker, so I used to use the like Deep Space Han Solo figure or whatever that came with like a fucking
Jumper
armor
pack? Yep.
Yeah. And I used that instead because for some reason I just never cared that much to get a Luke to go with my AT-AT Walker because I had Admiral Nito with it and then a Snowtrooper. But I never got a Luke. I never understood. Even thinking back now, I'm just like, why didn't I get a Luke Skywalker for that?
Now, I had that same exact toy as you, but the way I got my Star Wars toys is like I got regular Luke Skywalker first, then I got X-Wing Luke. But the weird thing is, the toy was marketed as X-Wing Luke, but it was Empire Strikes Back Hoth-Gear Snow Pilot Luke, which you're like, well, what's the difference? Well, one has a padded uniform and white gloves and white
people
boots.
who've watched that movie so many times, they totally know the difference. Because even as a little kid, I totally knew the fucking difference.
Same here. I was like, this is not the right outfit, but whatever. It was this outfit that we're looking at right now on screen. As a little kid, I didn't have the Snowspeeder. I went back and bought the 2010 re-release Snowspeeder, which is, I guess, more accurately scaled. But whatever. It's a good toy. But I had the AT-AT Walker. The only characters that I didn't have from Empire that were big, I didn't have Princess Leia in Bespin gear or Hoth gear, and I didn't have Lobot. I had Lando, I had Han, Luke, Chewie, because you only needed one Chewie back then. Do you like the Battle of Endor, or excuse me, Battle of Hoth?
Well, obviously, yeah, of course. I think as far as where I place it, I think that as far as cinema, the Battle of Hoth is one of the most important movie scenes of all time, not just for the effects, but the place in the film, not just the film franchise, but the film itself. But as far as Star Wars, I think it is the second most important battle, along with the Battle of Endor.
I would rank it third. I like, and I think even importance to the film, just inside the film, not the world. Battle of Yavin still is more exciting. This is fine. This is good. I have no complaints. But here's the thing. I don't get excited by this scene. There's nothing exciting about it. It's just, we're going to go out and stop these things.
I don't know. I like when they wrap up the AT-AT Walker.
That's cool to look at. I agree with you on that. It's like neat to look at.
And then you did it in the game.
Fucking Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, 1 and 2 and 3.
See, the only thing about me, the reason I put it number 2, Endor is 1, because the rebellion loses. That's why I think it's so important, because they're just distracting the Empire so the rest of the rebellion can get off planet, obviously with the ion cannon is drawn, making an escape route for him. That's why it's number 2, because they loot like Hoth is about this entire movie is about the rebellion. The good guys fucking lose in this film.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I'm just saying visually it's not as exciting as the Battle of Endor.
Right.
The music is nothing to write home about. My favorite part is when Luke.
Battle of Hoth.
My favorite part is when Luke crashes, and then he has to barely make it out alive. That to me is the only exciting part. Like this is cool, but they're wrapping up and then it falls. Yeah. It's like, that's cool. I don't have the emotional connection as I do from the first movie to anything in this one.
Right. I can buy that. Yeah.
It's more cool tactical wise. Like that's smart.
Here it goes. I love the design of the AT-AT Walker. I'm not excited to go see Rogue One that much because it's like, we get to see more of the same stuff we saw 30 years ago. Excuse me, 36 years ago.
Well, the only reason I'm excited about, I take that back. I'm not even excited. The only reason I'm intrigued is I like, for me as a fan, to see the story of how they get the plans. Other than that, I don't. It goes back to things that we've said ad nauseum. Fans, that we've said these things a lot. We don't need to see them do a lot of shit in Rogue Squadron. We know the outcome already. The problem with movies like that is it's hard to make the viewers want to see it. I don't care to see the intricacies of the rebellion before they get the plans. For me, if they just made a 15-minute spoof on Machinima about them getting the plans with this bitch and the rest of Donnie Yen and Forrest Whitaker, I'd be cool with that. But to make a 2-hour movie about it, I'm seriously worried about it.
What they should try to do is make a serious Star Wars anthology, like 5 or 6 short stories in the span of one film. I think that'd be interesting. That'd be something fresh.
Yeah.
When they're really milking this franchise dry, try that. Just try a different film format that Star Wars has never inhabited. I think that would be much more exciting as opposed to watching more.
You just solved their problem, bro. I think that, trying to get every inch and every centimeter of cash out of this franchise is not a good thing. And to do something like that, not only do you prove that you care about the actual subject matter, but you care about the films and the product that comes out with your brand on it. And clearly, they don't care about the brand of Star Wars right now.
No, I think we're in a point in time where Lucasfilm really needs to hand it off to a fan. Like, they need to get a producer that's a genuine fan. Kathleen Kennedy is just a fucking figurehead at this point. She's not really, she's produced a lot of big movies, but she's worked with other greats. She's not truly a great herself. She's like Triple H. She's the guy that works with the guy. And, I think it's time to get someone, okay, let's say I had the clout. I think I would bring a level of quality to Star Wars that it hasn't seen since the original first 2 films. I'm tired of this exploitation for money. You can make the biggest movie of all time financially and still have it be a quality story. Because Episode 7, it had the wow factor of, oh my god, Star Wars is back, I haven't seen Star Wars in theaters, blah, blah, blah. You had those people. They had a pass. They took it because they barely put anything new on screen. Now they got to really get their shit together because another fucking lazy-ass movie like Episode 7 is not going to fly. People are going to be more critical. I think if Episode 8 is a lazy piece of shit, people's eyes are going to open up and they're going to go back and go, oh, Episode 7 wasn't that good either. And then their whole opinion on Disney Star Wars is going to change. Like, in the words of Spider-Man on Family Guy, everybody gets one. Disney, you had your one. It's really time to buck up and you need to produce quality films because Star Wars used to be quality films. The first 2 movies in the first half of Return of the Jedi are quality films. 10 out of 10. Special effects and awesomeness just all together. And this is my favorite part when Luke pulls out his lightsaber. Pew!
Yep, it's fucking. I will admit that the Family Guys, where he goes in and it's a fucking unborn AT-AT Walker. That part was actually pretty funny.
I don't mind the Family Guy parodies except the fuck off line. I hate that. Okay, watch. Here's a special effects flub. There's a stick that pushed up the AT-AT Walker's foot, so it'd fall over. Back left side. Rebels are getting their shit pushed in. But the thing is, there's only one AT-AT Walker left. They could have really won this battle.
No, there's still 2. It's he blows up one. The one they blew up before, there was 4 then he blows up one on his own with the lightsaber, and then there's Admiral
General Veer. Yeah,
General Veers. He becomes Admiral, and then there's one other one besides this.
He doesn't become Admiral because he's never seen again, dude. Julian Glover's a well-known actor. He's not in any other Star Wars movies.
No, I'm getting him confused with actual...
You're thinking of Admiral Piet, Captain Piet to Admiral Piet. He gets promoted in this film. He never leaves the Star Destroyer. Now, General Veers is never.
I think of the dude that replaces Admiral Oswald.
Yeah, Captain Piet, and he's now Admiral Piet. Yeah, he's my favorite Imperial officer. You know they've never made his action.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree with that.
I feel like if there was a really poorly written fan fiction scene where he got captured by the rebels, he would switch sides and join the Alliance. There's the man right there, Darth Vader. First time we see Darth Vader somewhere that's not in outer space. He's about to fuck shit up. Poor C-3PO. Hurry up, Goldenrod. You're going to be a permanent resident. Han Solo's got some great one-liners in this movie. The effects really hold up well.
You're about to be a permanent resident.
The fucking matte painting right there looks beautiful. The Millennium Falcon is my favorite spaceship, and it will always be my favorite spaceship. Because I think it's one half design, one half imagination. Like, if you tell me to close my eyes and imagine myself traveling through space, it's going to be in this ship.
No, it's definitely one of the top 3 spaceships ever put on cinema, for sure. I think that it's fantastic, especially not only the Battle of Yavin, but when they're in the asteroid field. Fantastic. I love this spaceship so much.
I do too. So the original, not the original, but the 95 Millennium Falcon toy had this sound effect used for the main laser, and it always bothered me because I'm like, that's not the main laser sound effect. So I was one of those kids. Like, I knew all the minute details, and if you didn't give me like an accurate representation of what was on camera, I bitched. So, like, a lot of people that go on these toy forums and complain about the Nerf guns or the inaccuracies, and then these other apologist fans go, oh, you're an adult, these are for kids. I'm using the inner kid of me to speak and say, hey, I had bitched about this as a kid. I wanted my shit to look just like the Falcon. I bitched that the back of the Millennium Falcon toy was too fat. So I'm just saying, I knew about, all those things.
Well, for someone that would create a podcast and is a comic book artist, if you didn't notice these things, I'd probably judge the shit out of you.
Well, I'm glad you understand my attention to detail. Here's my thing. If you're making a toy based on something like it's in a movie, there's no reason not to make it look just like the real thing. It is not the toy creator's purpose or right to put their own artistic flair on it. Like if I had a movie and I designed this shit and you were making toys, my edict would be make it look just like the movie. I don't want any toyetic features. If it doesn't look just like the fucking movie, I'm going to pull the license from you. Like, that's how strongly I feel about this. And I always feel like the best toys look just like they came off the screen. Because people are paying for a little piece of tangible merchandise from an intangible property, which is a movie. I can't go and, touch R2-D2 or, pat Chewbacca on the shoulder. But if I get a really accurate action figure, it's the next best thing. And
I for sure. I think
you were talking about the asteroid field. Here we go, coming up.
That's right. One of the greatest examples of the steel grill that is Han Solo. He has a fucking Star Destroyer literally on his tail because he can't go to light speed, and the dude is handling business.
I used to think Han Solo couldn't go to light speed because he got shot in the battle leaving from the Death Star, and I thought that little bit ruined his ship. So for years, that was in my memory. So when I watch this, I still have to tell myself that is not what actually happens. And I don't think the Millennium Falcon's actually looked better on film. This is where it moves the best. It banks, it maneuvers, it does barrel rolls. It looks amazing. Yeah,
the closest it gets is Return of the Jedi, obviously, which is something that we'll do next. But that's only because of the Battle of Endor when they're inside the Death Star, the second Death Star. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This is one of the reasons why I say it's about Luke and Han is because you see Han literally in his element the whole time. Obviously, he's not smuggling anything, but technically he's smuggling Princess Leia. He's Han Solo at the height of his powers at this point.
I would like to see it's too late now because Han Solo is dead, but it would have been cool to see a Star Wars film that was a good one, where Han Solo was actually on multiple locations doing multiple things. Like in Episode 7, I guess he was in multiple locations, but he really didn't do much. He was kind of just too old to even be in the movie.
Wasn't a laser blast? Some hit us.
God, I love that fucking jacket. You know, somebody found the screen used jacket at like a thrift store.
I saw that.
Now,
he just fucking gave it. He just gave it away. He just doesn't care.
Oh fuck no! I think right here the asteroid field music is probably the best part of the score in this entire film. It's epic.
I think it's second only to when Darth Vader reveals himself as Luke's father. But no, it's definitely those two things are the best score. No shit, I have to say the Emperor's Speech probably. So it's definitely in the top 3.
The Emperor's Speech doesn't have music, dude.
It has the wait, no, that's
Return of the Jedi.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking this film. I'm not talking about the whole franchise, because if I'm going to say the whole franchise, the best musical cues come from the first movie.
I don't know about that.
Oh, dude, I got all the scores. We could sit down and we could do a compare and contrast any day of the week.
You know that I will, dude. Don't be threatening me with a good time.
I'm going to threaten you with a good time, because here's the thing.
We're doing it. That's going to be one of the episodes after this Drunk Podcast is us comparing the scores. Done.
Well, okay, the Star Wars theme is attributed to the first film. So right there, the most recognizable Star Wars music, that point goes to the first movie. Then you got,
would you say that, or would you say the Imperial March is the most recognizable?
I wouldn't say I think the Imperial March is a fine song, but it's only really applicable for Darth Vader, and it's not in every Star Wars movie. The theme and variations of the theme are in every movie.
Which should go to show you, if it's not in every movie, but it's so iconic it's in one movie.
It's in 2. It's heavily featured in Return of the Jedi.
Obviously,
it's in the prequels. Hey, look, I like the score.
2 seconds. Obviously, when they show parts of Anakin, obviously they play like the first part of Imperial March, but it's not as heavily.
Look, and I feel like the Imperial March is a great song, but it's a song that somebody wrote like, man, that's epic, and then they put in every little bit, and you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
I don't think Return of the Jedi has much music that's memorable.
No. Nope. Outside of, obviously, Yum Yum, there's not a lot of memorable parts of Return of the Jedi musically.
I do really enjoy the original song from Jabba's Palace, Lapti Nek. Yep. It's on my phone. I listen to it every once in a while. It's so funky. It's a weird song.
Because it doesn't fit the franchise, but it fits in so well. It's fucking amazing.
It fits better than fucking Jedi Rocks. No. We'll talk about that next. Fucking so Luke's about to land, or should I say crash land on Dagobah.
I will say though, when you play Battlefront, or not Battlefront, God damn it.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront.
Is it Battlefront? Yeah. Battlefront 2, when you can play Heroes vs. Villains, they play that song on loop. And I'm just like, if it wasn't for this video game, I would hate this song. But it forced me to love it.
So Luke is just crash landing. Now, see, this is where the movie, I like it, but this is where I start to have problems with this movie.
I don't understand why, man.
Look, this is how I feel. Star Wars, the first movie, is like a slingshot. So in the beginning, you pick up that rock quickly, so you got a lot of movement. Then you're pulling back. That's the little bit of scenes on Tatooine, right? But then, as soon as the Millennium Falcon takes off, you let go of that fucking slingshot, and the movie just flies. It's like nonstop story action. This starts out, then it stops. Then it starts, then it stops. It's like, oh my god, I don't.
Right, but you couldn't have built Luke as a Jedi without these next scenes.
Look, and I'm going to tell you where I think you could do a little nip tuck on this movie when we get to said scenes. Like I said, this is all we haven't seen a scene yet where I go, you should cut this out. Believe me, we haven't reached that point yet, and you're not going to see too many of them.
Right.
But there are some where I go, like, this could be a little shorter, this, whatever. And here's the thing. I'm not in love with Yoda. I don't think he's cute. I don't think he's that whimsical and magical. He's fine. And I like him enough. Like, I don't dislike Yoda. He's not my least favorite Star Wars character. But I don't get excited about Yoda. I don't really quote Yoda. I don't... See, like I said, I've been a Star Wars fan in a different manner. Like, I almost feel like I was like an original Star Wars style fan where I lived the realm of the first movie so long, and then the other shit that came is just an addition to what I already like. So I always look at Yoda as like, he's not one of like the original core characters. He's a core character, but he's like a later addition. So, you know, those episodes of, I don't know, what's a TV show where they had a good character in later seasons, you know? Like, the first season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has no Frank. I love Frank, but I like the other group because they were there first. Like, I have a stronger connection.
Supernatural does that. You know, a lot of other smaller shows do that shit, but
I bought this Luke Skywalker figure, by the way, a couple years back. I searched for it for months. I found it at Walmart, and I absolutely love it. It is a badass toy. I love this. I love this costume. I wish he would have fought, like in the original production design paintings. Luke fought Vader in this costume. I wish he would have fought him in this, because I think the orange would have looked really cool. The way it would have glowed under the lights on Cloud City.
I don't think so. I like the gray because it's that definitely that emphasizes that Luke's not ready. You know, obviously that's one of those little details where it's he's in gray, he's in a tattered uniform. You know, he's not ready to face someone like Darth. That's why I like him in that Cloud City outfit, because he just looks like someone who's halfway through their training, and it fits so perfectly. The flight suit now, it's perfect as far as, you know, it's him. He's still part of the rebellion at this point. He's not a Jedi yet. So he's wearing his flight suit. For you, subconsciously, as a viewer, you still associate him with the rebellion. You still associate him as the kid who blew up the Death Star. Not until he sheds it and he's running through the goddamn, I guess, swamp of Dagobah, do you finally say, okay, now he's starting to become a Jedi. Visually, you get that he's not a Jedi. But right here, like I was saying before, proves that, yes, Darth Vader was a human. It's him putting his helmet.
Yeah. See, I think I could understand if Luke wore more of a white outfit. Maybe the gray symbolizes he's not completely good or bad. I could see the neutral color of that. Right. But I don't think the audience knew what a Jedi looked like. So I don't necessarily associate that outfit with Jedi. That's just kind of like clothing that people would wear. Like, I could see Han Solo in that outfit, because if you look at their clothing, it's quite similar how they dress. Like, that must be like a standard style in that universe, because the way Luke dresses.
That's why this franchise is so good. You don't. It's not like, you know, a knight in shining armor movie from, you know, the early 20th century where, you know, the bad guy wore dark colors, the good guy wore light colors. You know, Star Wars was so awesome in the 70s, and in this case, the late 70s and early 80s, because like wrestling, you know, it blurred the lines between who was really good and who was really bad. That's why it's so awesome that he's wearing a gray flight suit, you know, a gray combat suit that's torn up. You know, he's not the good guy yet. He's still learning how to become the good guy. And
well, now, real quick, let's jump to this scene. It's cool to see Han Solo and Leia's interaction. I know...
Don't have time for anything else.
I know it's implied that this is their first kiss coming up, but the way they act, I feel like they've fucked before. Not literally fucked.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd say literally. They've totally banged before this movie. Totally.
Especially the tunes.
Yeah, the way that she reacts. He says something so... She falls, and he's literally... She notices that he's not focused on her, and she looks back and goes, you know, get off me. And he's just like, sorry, princess. And he shoves her off. So you don't shove a woman off like that unless you're trying to get her mad. And he does it so effortlessly. And he goes, we don't have time for anything else. And even as a kid, I'm like, he said that to her before. Because the way that she reacts, she punches the console. He said it to her before. That's not the first time that she's heard that. Because he goes, you know, we haven't had time for anything else. He smiles, then he walks away. And the way that she looks, she goes, he did it again. That's the face that she has. He's done that before to her.
Is this your favorite Luke costume?
No, second only to his Jedi Knight costume in Return of the Jedi. The black flight suit with the flap that closes on the shoulder. That's my favorite.
Same here. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is the coolest. Now, I didn't know he was... Like I told you, man, I didn't know there were 3 Star Wars movies at first. I'd only seen the first one for a couple months. And then I was out at a Walgreens, and they had Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, the action figure, and I went, what is this? He had a green lightsaber? So I bought the toy, and then I saw the movie. So I kind of had it spoiled a little bit. Here's our first introduction to Yoda, my least favorite character in this movie. No, I like him just fine. I like the...
You like Lobot better than Yoda?
Yeah, Lobot for life, bro. Yoda forever. Well, Yoda's cool.
You did give me that the Black Fleet series book. I actually already had it, but you gave it to me, and Lobot's actually a very prominent character in those series. And because of that, that's the reason why I knew. Yeah, I knew his name was Lobot, but then when I read the books, I was like, oh fuck, that's the dude from Empire Strikes Back.
I had a Lobot action figure from the original run of Star Wars toys. I bought it in a yard sale. I didn't even know what it was. Then it broke, and then I found out it was from Star Wars, and I got really upset until I realized it was Lobot. And,
as you should be, you
Lobot
piece of shit.
Sucks. I always wonder what the hell Luke was really eating. Like, what did they put in there for Mark Hamill to eat?
I was assuming it was just granola bars and like carrot sticks and shit.
Because they're in London, so they eat weird food in England, boiled meats.
English people are very fucking weird.
But the women have really big boobies, so. See, now I understand that this is important for the character of Yoda, and that we learn that, oh my god, he's gonna be a Jedi in disguise, but I get annoyed. Like I said earlier, you have the flow of the film go so fast, so smoothly, and then you hit a little stop. And I'm not necessarily in favor of that, but I guess people like Yoda, they associate with him. He's a little cutesy character. I don't like cutesy. I don't like small little characters. I don't identify with them. I'm a giant, so it's just not for me. Hey, Hillary.
Hey. No, I like Yoda a lot. I like the cutesy characters, though.
That's true.
It's geared towards people like me.
Well, I'm sure you love Wicket the Ewok.
I do. I love Ewoks, and people probably hate me for saying that, but I absolutely think they're the most adorable things in the world.
We just lost all 2,000 subscribers because of you. Thanks.
That's fine. I'm only here every once in a while. They'll just be like, fuck that bitch.
I think Dion would have something to say if they called you a bitch on the comment section.
That's true.
Wait, what did she say? She likes Ewoks?
You know I like Ewoks.
I know, but I judge you every time you open your mouth about
But I
them.
love Ewoks. They're so cute.
It should have been fucking Wookiees. That's what it should have been.
It should have been, yes, but it was not.
They blew it up, damn it. Okay, so we're back on the Millennium Falcon. C-3PO is the professor. It's cool how much bigger they make the Millennium Falcon feel in this film. It really opens up the ship.
The only thing I wish they did in Empire Strikes Back is that they, freaking better explain the amount of time that passed between Hoth.
And that's my biggest fucking problem with this movie.
Yep.
It meanders. Yep. It goes on for an unspecified amount of time, and not in a good way. Like, when you watch the first Star Wars movie, you know how many days it takes place.
Right.
Like, it's
same with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, well, like in the first film, it's specifically like, okay, so the first day they're in space on the Tantive 4, then they land on Tatooine, and then it shows night, and then the next day Luke finds them, and then the next day Uncle Owen Beru and all them get killed, and then they're off into space, and then I assume that the very next day they go off to fight. So maybe, 4 days I said? This could be weeks, it could be months. I mean, really, is Luke Skywalker going to go train for 3 weeks?
This is the reason why I said that they were something beforehand.
Yeah. There's a lot of sexual tension.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was a beer burp. There was something going on because the way that she reacts, she likes it, but she doesn't like it. The way she brushed him off when he went to help her, they totally banged.
I feel like this is the only sci-fi film, or one of the few films in general that's not a romantic film, that the romantic elements feel genuine. Probably because they were fucking in real life. But, you watch other movies like Star Trek, the new ones. It is hokey that Spock and Uhura are hooking up, but you believe that Han and Leia have slept together.
See, for me, yeah, it definitely is a different feel. Spock and Uhura, even though they make it work, it's definitely forced. But here, you could feel it's a lot more natural because, of course, women go for the bad guy that's fucking acting like a badass. That's just what women do. That it feels natural in this film.
Yeah, plus, here's the thing. I could see that Leia's interested in Luke, though, too. I don't see...
Right, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole adage. Women are interested and they want to be with the good guy, but they always drop the panties for the bad boy. And sure enough, if someone who had watched Star Wars a couple of times, they would be like, yeah, it makes sense that you would say, you know what, Han and Leia banged while on Hoth, and when they were on a mission on Ord Mantell, it made sense. But it would also make sense that, yeah, she never truly got in a relationship with Luke because he was the good guy.
What do you always say to me, baby? You always say, always leave him wanting more?
Always leave him wanting more.
Here we go, dude. This is probably one of the better special edition changes right here.
Yep.
This isn't even technically a special edition change. This is a Blu-ray, a 2004 DVD release change, so it's a special edition change. It works because, Ian McDiarmid is the Emperor. He looks a little too old, though, here. They should have made the makeup a little, I don't know, tighter, so he looks more like his Return of the Jedi counterpart.
I don't know. I think very few people notice that difference.
You're talking to the guy that knows the difference.
That's why I said
minute differences in every costume, and I know the differences between Han's blasters between parts 1 and 2. I'm talking.
He just had a bad night. He didn't sleep well. There's shit going off, and
plus we already know that the Emperor had concubines, so he could have just been tired from laying all that pipe.
Well, his dick ain't burned, so.
As long as the dick ain't burnt, you got some serious shit to work with.
The dick is still good. He used the Force. So, how do you think this movie would have been if they swerved you in Return of the Jedi and Luke turns evil and joins the Emperor?
There would have had to been a fourth one.
I wish that would have happened.
I know. I think that, which of course, I know that they did that in the books, but as far as if they swerved people in Return of the Jedi, that would have opened the door more so to Leia being a Jedi. They never really closed that circle. So for him saying you have that power too, and him becoming essentially the new Darth Vader, would have been an awesome gateway for Leia to become a Jedi and to face Luke and to make him come back to the good side.
I wanted more of the original Star Wars, and that's where Episode 7 dropped the ball, because we have the Empire's back. Why the fuck couldn't the Empire have been defeated? The Empire was defeated. We got the New Order, but it's essentially the Empire. They have stormtroopers. They have Star Destroyers. There's nothing new.
And that, like I said, man, I've said it so many times. I've said it to Hillary. I've said it to you. You and I have had these conversations ad nauseum. The way you tell the story is so important. So there's a difference between you leaving a cliffhanger and you telling, and you actually telling a story. The cliffhanger is for the Episode 7. Who is this Sith Lord that Kylo Ren answers to? He's in the chair. They even use a hologram trick to make you think of Episode 5, but there's no answer to it. It's not done masterfully like Episode 4, Episode 5, where you subconsciously want to know who this bad guy is. Episode 7, you consciously ask the question, where did he come from? Why didn't they mention him in the other movies? Why didn't they mention him in the series? Why didn't they mention him in the books? You know that it's out of place. That's why it's shitty storytelling. And I know that there are a few people that like Episode 7 on our channel, but again...
One person, just say it.
Right, one person, we know who he is. You cannot explain why he is there without 20 reasons why he shouldn't be there from someone who actually likes the original Star Wars. Even if you bring in the prequels, that doesn't make any sense. And it's bad story. J.J. Abrams is a bad storyteller.
Yeah, and the prequels... And the prequels are fucking poorly written, and they're nowhere superior to the original films. Like, I'm tired of that fucking argument.
Right. Well, even people that say it's what made me so mad about when that one certain person who would probably argue for this movie was saying that Kylo Ren, was saying that Anakin with the Emperor was the best scene. It's so important for you to tell a story. Even if you don't mean for it to happen, you leave breadcrumbs for people who are seeing your product, seeing your story, to ask questions.
I feel so behind right now.
That's fine. It's okay, baby. But you cannot tell me, even if you have problems with Return of the Empire Strikes Back, they specifically leave breadcrumbs in perfect places to make you see the next movie. Episode 7 doesn't do that. Phantom Menace doesn't do that. It's how you tell a story that makes the difference. And Empire Strikes Back does that perfectly.
Yeah, but Empire Strikes Back also lives and dies on that next movie. It really isn't a complete experience until you watch Return of the Jedi. So,
even if Return of the Jedi was bad.
It is
bad. Shut up. Even if it was bad, you could watch Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back and still want to see a sequel. In of itself, obviously it needs A New Hope. We can agree on that. But even if there wasn't a third movie, it leaves you, every time you would watch it, you would want to see a sequel. Episode 7, I don't want to see a sequel. I've seen what happens. I've already seen Return of the Jedi. I know who's going to win in the end. You don't need to make a sequel.
So we got they're on this planet, quotation marks. They're about to look for some Minocs who are chewing on the power cables. This is a cool scene, but the thing about this movie is it feels so claustrophobic and set-bound, and I don't like that. With the first Star Wars movie, it felt huge and expansive, and then this one, you're kind of like bound to little bitty sets. Yeah, you're muted.
No, yeah. I mean, the Minoc scene is awesome. This is, up until you realize that it's not a cave until he frickin' shoots the ground. I love this scene. Even, hey, obviously before you realize it's a fucking space worm, but it's awesome.
Yeah. So these creatures are pretty fucked up and creepy looking. I like how Chewbacca handles them, though. He, for as big as Chewbacca is, he is just, a whiny little dude, whiny big guy at the end of the day. I don't really know what else to say about this scene. It's a pretty badass scene. It's cool. It builds to a really great scene. It's funny, though, when I'm watching this, by this time they had perfected the rotoscoping for the lightsabers and the blasters, and a lot of the, effects just hit on this film, on every level.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. It's one of the few perfect movies from top to bottom.
I want to say yes, but there are other movies, like Die Hard is a better movie than this movie. Back to the Future is a better movie than this movie.
Die Hard... Argument can be made. Back to the Future, yeah, I can see why you would say Back to the Future. It being the first entry in the series is definitely, obviously, a better movie because you don't need to watch. There's no prequel that you need to watch. With Empire, you have to watch A New Hope before you really get what's going on in this movie.
And like you said about, I keep saying, the New Hope is the just most complete story. It's like, good or beginning,
right.
Middle, end. This doesn't really have a beginning, middle, and end. It kind of has a beginning, a middle, and then the middle is all the way until the next film. Then that film really doesn't have a beginning either. It goes that's just a middle to an end. So if you're watching Star Wars, if you're sitting down one day, you gotta watch Empire and Jedi back to back. You gotta do it.
Well, mainly because of the Han Solo story, not just because of everything else that happens.
Not that, but I mean, I don't know. We'll get into it more. Here's a scene that I don't like the flow of. Because it's like we build up to something action-packed, and then we're back on this fucking ugly set.
But it's not an important action-packed. It's literally just them. They've already escaped the space.
I know, but something builds up, and you're like, oh my god, they're on the run. Then we slow it down again. It would have been cool if they... if I was making this movie, I would have had them escape the space slug and fly off into space, and then, oh shit, there's a Star Destroyer. Then we would have kept it rolling. I would have had a sense of urgency with them. There's no sense of urgency with Han, Leia, and and C-3PO and Chewbacca. It's like they get chased for a few seconds and then they're safe, and then they get chased for a few seconds and they're safe. You got to make that shit relentless. It's not relentless until the end of the movie when they're on Dagobah. I'd have liked if you had this feeling of relentlessness on the behalf of the Empire, and you're always on the edge of your seat, and then you finally get to Cloud City and you think you're safe, and then Vader's there.
That's exactly what happens, though.
That's not exactly what happens, though, because it's we're going to get away from something, and then we jump back to this scene, and then we go back, and then we jump back to this scene. It's it's
right,
never...
but it's for Han and Leia and Chewbacca, it's that you're a safe scene, not for all the characters. Obviously, they don't do it for Luke, obviously, because he's not with them.
It's not about... That's what I'm saying, though. If it doesn't... It kills that feeling of, this kills the sense of urgency on their part. It's every few seconds we're safe. It's they're going to get safe again.
Yeah, until you see Luke have a premonition about his friends are going to die.
And thank God we don't actually see the premonition. We just see Luke. We don't see... if this was episode 7, we'd see a fucking flashback, zoom in, crash zoom, shitty effect of, and you'd hear people screaming, and you'd hear a lightsaber go off, and a tauntaun, and a youngling getting slaughtered, and Jar Jar Binks and a queef, and all that other dumb shit,
No, right, for sure. I think that it's a good thing that they don't show what he saw. But again,
I see a
that's
city in the just to say, I see a city in the clouds. Han, Leia, you know something's wrong. Now this is probably the best scene on Dagobah right here.
no, obviously not. The fucking X-Wing coming out of the swamp is the best thing on Dagobah.
That's not that important. This is important.
It's totally important.
This is way more important.
This is where you realize how powerful Yoda is.
And this is where you see Luke Skywalker on the teeter-totter of good versus evil. What's in that cave? What you take with you. You see Luke Skywalker actually teetering on the edge of, I'm new to these powers. We don't know he's his dad yet, but like Darth Vader was a good guy and switched to evil. And now that we know that this is, they're related, what's going to keep Luke from going over to the dark side? This is way more impactful than a ship coming out of water.
You see that the whole point with the X coming out of the swamp is Luke giving in to failure. So you see, at this point, he fails. You don't really know that he fails against fighting Darth Vader. You see that he fights him. That's the whole point of him knocking off his face and seeing himself. You think he wins until the helmet pops off. When he can't lift rocks and he can't get the X-Wing out of the swamp, and Yoda does it with ease, and then he says, hey, do it or not, there is no fail. He does it, and he goes, that was amazing. And he goes, that's why you fail. That's the point of you see.
Sir, it's do or do not, there is no try. And then he says,
I
don't believe.
I was giving you my peace of mind, sir.
You're wrong.
Don't try and swap quotes with me, God.
I'm just correcting you. Anyway, this lightsaber duel's okay. See, no one ever talks about this lightsaber duel. Everyone goes, rank the lightsaber duels. You know what? I'm going to rank this from now on as number 7. Just this random. This is the only decapitation in a Star Wars film. Next to from the original trilogy, because you have Mace Windu.
Not the only. You have Yoda chopping off the scout troopers on Kashyyyk.
I thought he just stabbed the one in the head, or stabbed the one in the chest.
No, he stabs one, and then he jumps up and he cuts off their heads, and their heads fall to the ground. And he lands, and that's when he realizes that they're fucking turning on us, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about the prequels later.
Yeah,
that was the most impactful scene.
No,
with the blip.
Easily, the X-Wing coming out of the swamp is the most impactful on Dagobah.
This is another reason why I don't love this film as much as the first one. This is when it starts to delve into the whole metaphysical aspects of the Force, and that's the part of Star Wars I don't care about. It would be cool to have a lightsaber because it can cut through anything, but I'm not interested in the Force. I'm not interested in that stuff. I'm more interested in the Empire and the Rebel Alliance.
Right. No, I mean, I get that.
That's the only part of Rogue One that I'm excited for. It's like, finally, I don't have to see fucking Jedis. Jedis are the most overpowered, and they're not even good characters. Like, the Jedi in the fucking prequel trilogy, they are not good characters. They're just...
But you're complaining about how they're written. They're supposed to be flawed at some point. Like
They're not flawed. They're too perfect. They're boring. I'm not talking about in the realm of the film. I'm talking about as a viewer. They're not exciting. Oh my god, they can use a lightsaber and flip around. Whoop-de-fucking-do. They don't have anything going on internally that I care about. I care about Luke's conflict. I care about the struggle of them. Well, I don't give a fuck about Mace Windu.
But again, that's you not watching them all the way through. Obviously,
what are you talking about? Not watching them all the way through? I've seen all those movies multiple times from beginning.
Yeah, but you see the conflict with Qui-Gon Jinn wanting to help Anakin.
Yeah, I'm talking about Mace Windu. I'm talking about the guys on the Jedi Council. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I care about because he has a whole story. With the exception,
Mace Windu is a perfect example. Mace Windu wants to kill somebody.
And that is not...
That's not the Jedi way. Even Anakin says that's not the Jedi way. He knows, despite his Jedi training...
Look, dude, that's not an interesting character development. That is a one-scene
very interesting character.
He has no character.
That's why Episode 3 is lacking, because they don't expand on that at all. But again, even if you talk about Mace Windu, he fucking cuts a dude's head off.
Whoop-de-doo, they're in battle. That doesn't make you a good character.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. The Jedi aren't interesting characters in these movies.
But no. You saying that George Lucas tried and failed. I get that. One of the few things that he tried on and made interesting, the dichotomy between the White Knight wannabes and how they interact in war. That's why, one of the few good things about the Clone Wars is, the good guys aren't always the good guys in war. That's what I liked about the very end of the.
But we're not talking about the Clone Wars. We're talking about the movies. And in the movies, they are the good guys. They are vanilla ice cream. They don't add anything. They're not exciting. Obi-Wan Kenobi, for as cool as he is, really is pretty white bread in those movies. Not until the very end of Revenge of the Sith has he actually got a little edge to him. Okay, so we are watching Luke train. You are muted, by the way. So we're seeing some rocks lifted. According to Dion, this is the most exciting scene in the
Right.
film.
Here we go. This is the part that I'm banking on right now. It's fucking
some rocks.
right.
The rock says,
"Yeah, you know your role. Shut your mouth."
Yeah, shut up, R2D2. You're fucking it up for everybody. Oh, Luke. See, now this is the kind of training I would have liked to have seen Anakin go through. But we don't. We just kind of are. It's like, oh, you're a Jedi, but you're not a knight. You're not on the council.
That's what bummed me out. Is like, you know, Anakin. You see the shit that doesn't matter him go through, but then, you know, it's just that's what doesn't fit between these movies and the prequels. You see Luke go through this. If you're a smart movie maker, you make Anakin. You film him going through the same shit, and the differences are what you base it on.
Oh, and one thing Dustin was going on when we were talking about the best moments in Star Wars. He's like, "Well, I don't like yours because I don't like happy endings." Well, Episode 3 actually does.
He should love Empire Strikes Back. Then
here's the thing, though. Episode 3 actually does have a happy ending because the good guys technically kind of win. Because he goes, "Oh, well, Darth Vader's the bad guy at that point. He's the one that loses. Obi-Wan wins. Obi-Wan is the hero of that film. He wins. He escapes. He rescues the twins. They go on to save the Empire.
Jedi will come back."
I'm just saying, he is the one. I mean, the good guys win in that movie. So I don't know why everyone's like, "Oh, that has such a dark, depressing ending." It doesn't. The good guys fucking win. I don't give a fuck about the Jedi Council. They died. The main hero won. You know, when we watch Beverly Hills Cop, Mikey Tandino died, but Axel Foley won. It's a happy ending.
But even so, the thing that bothers me about Dustin's point of view, obviously it's very flawed because it's Dustin and he likes dudes' dicks. But you know, him, I don't like happy endings. The fucking Empire Strikes Back. The name of the movie tells you the Empire fucking wins. He doesn't like it as much. But then you have Episode 3. Yeah, the Empire killed. The kids getting killed thing was a plot trick. You're supposed to be like, I don't like this guy anymore because he killed kids. But again, he gets his ass whooped. The Emperor, he beats Yoda, but he doesn't kill him. Yoda gets away in the end. You see the rebellion form and get away. You see the dude who becomes Leia's dad begin to plant the seed of a rebellion. You see the kids, even though their mom dies, he goes back to his family. She goes to a very privileged family. At the end of the day, you know, thank you, world-class bullshitters. At the end of the day, she's not going to be hurting for money or a well-being. The good guys suffer, but they win in the end. And then you tell me that you don't like good endings? The hero gets his hand cut off. The other hero gets tortured and for all you know, sent into bondage. And then you see the frickin' rebellion frickin' loses. How do you not like good endings and not? And
I think
not
with him, it's just to be contrarian is the point, and it's.
Thank you.
It's not a good argument. Like, to be contrarian isn't to be intriguing. Does that make sense?
No,
actually, I kind of like that phrase. To be contrarian is not to be intriguing. Anyway, I'm not going to toot my own horn on this.
Easy, Jedi Master Hicks.
Hey, I am not a Jedi Master. Okay, I am the Force itself. I will fuck you up and I will impregnate your girlfriends and not let you know about it.
All right, there, Chris Brown, calm yourself down.
Oh, dude, I saw that video. It was crazy. Anyway. Here comes the X-Wing out of the muck, Dion. According to you, this is the most important scene on Dagobah.
Yes, according to
I am going to bust your balls till the end of time.
Give a shit.
I give a shit. I gave this movie a 10 out of 10. I love The Empire Strikes Back.
I'm just pissing you off. I'm teasing you.
But it's like, here's the thing. I have a couple of rules about movies. One, I don't watch movies that take place in medieval times or medieval times are okay, but I don't watch movies that exist like pre-technology, meaning I don't necessarily enjoy films like fantasy films like Lord of the Rings where they don't have like modern technology and shit like that. I don't enjoy that kind of shit.
Really, the only thing about that is you are missing out on a lot of good films.
I don't know. I've seen them. I don't not watch them. I don't enjoy like sword and sorcery movies. This is like the closest Star Wars gets to that type of sword and sorcery mystic shit. Other than that, it's pretty rooted in technology.
This is why I love it because it's you see Luke. He's walking around the X-Wing. Right.
Okay.
I get that. Obviously, us. But my whole thing is you see Luke's wonder here. You see him walking around the X-wing. Obviously, we're with the Empire. You see Darth Vader about to kill one of his captains.
Oh, poor Captain Nita. I always feel sorry for this dude.
Apology accepted.
Captain Nita. Hey, this is a Darth Vader movie. He's got the best lines of dialogue. He's got the best everything.
Plus, those boots are fucking killer.
Yeah, the costume, the Darth Vader suit in this movie looks way more intimidating.
It's a lot sleeker.
It
too.
is.
It's a lot more shiny than it was in A New Hope.
And it's a completely different mask. It's more symmetrical. The first mask is asymmetrical and completely different.
Right.
Believe me, if you went online and read some of the forums that I've read, there would be nerdy dudes that will tell you every little intricacy about the Darth Vader costume. I'm not that good. Actually, I just don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, obviously you do, but he does look better in this film. I think everyone's costumes look better in this film, especially officer with the black gloves, the boots, the hats.
I'm torn though. Here's the thing: I think they all look great in this movie, but I think the first movie they're all iconic. Like when I think of Han Solo, the first thing I do think of is the vest. I love the jacket. I think it looks cool, but only because it's different. The first costume is like when you close your eyes and think Han Solo. When you think Johnny Wishbone, boom, I appear. You think Han Solo.
It's like Kibbles and Bits, but different.
Chewbacca looks exactly the same, so hey, whatever. We also learned that you can shut C-3PO off from his neck, because in the first movie he shuts himself off.
Right.
He just goes, "If you don't need me, sir, I'll power down."
Well, again, that goes to show you. That's why I take that back. I don't love it. C-3PO's presence is necessary. It's them. It's one of the reasons how cool Han is. He's at this point, him and Leia, they've banged a couple of times in deep space. She's a lot like him at this point in the movie, to where he goes, "Will you please?" and she just shuts off C-3PO. He's so charismatic that at this point in the movie, everyone on the Millennium Falcon, they're on the same page, man. They're like, we need to get out of this. We need to survive. It's been, we assume, a long time.
See, now here's the problem. I don't know how long we're supposed to assume. Is it days? Is it weeks? Because I can buy that they're on the run for days. But then I don't buy that Luke's only training for like 3 or 4 days. That's where I have problems with this movie, and that's where I go, because there's some cracks that people overlook because of the fucking twist ending. This movie lives and dies by the twist ending. I don't think...
No, definitely not.
I don't think it has any action scenes that surpass the original, with the exception of the lightsaber duel. The space shit looks better in the first
You don't think
movie.
that Hoth surpasses anything in A New Hope?
We're talking strictly action scenes, so everything has a comparable... a corresponding scene.
Right, so
I would compare. I would compare the Battle of Hoth to the Battle of Yavin. They're the big set pieces of said film. Battle of Yavin superior in every which way. Better action, better emotion, better score. Just it looks better. There's nothing. I mean, the AT-AT walkers are cool, but they're not as like. It's not as important to the fucking story. They could have had anything going on there.
It's not important to the story. Without the Battle of Hoth,
the thing is, you could have had the Battle of Hoth be anything. You could have had just a squadron of TIE fighters attack. And they could have had a fucking on-planet spaceship battle. That could have looked
would have had to set up a whole new opening to Empire Strikes Back.
That makes sense. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Obviously, with Yavin, the space battle, it's different. It fits into the movie. With Hoth, they're on the ship. They have, they even mention it. They have a shield over the planet. It's different than having a battle in space.
No, I said they could have an on-planet battle. They don't have a battle. They don't have a shield over the planet. They have a shield over their fucking base that can repel anything. That's what it is. It's not a whole planet, because the planet's just remote. That's why they're there. I'm just saying that the Battle of Hoth is cool to look at, but it's not as entertaining for me as the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Hoth is cool, it's fine, but I don't really care. Like when I watch this movie, I'm just like waiting for it to get to the next part, to the asteroid field. I don't give a shit about it.
I don't know about that.
That's the beauty of this commentary. It's about differing opinions.
Exactly.
We don't have to agree on anything. We agree that Die Hard is a great movie, and we love Beverly Hills Cop.
It would be a very boring commentary if you and I agreed on everything.
No, and the thing is, I'm not having these differing opinions on Empire to be contrarian. I just don't like this
movie. That's because you're not Dustin.
Yeah, I don't like dicks. No, I just don't enjoy this movie as much as I see. Look at. I feel like this. I see through the veneer. Like, it's a good movie. It doesn't have like all these flaws like the later films, but everyone gets so worked up over one fucking scene, and it's not that epic. Like the ending, oh, I am your father. Cool. Okay, let's
Don't
do the
you
next shit.
even dare try to argue to me that that's not an epic scene.
I'm not saying it's not
Don't
epic,
you
but
dare
no,
try that
I'm
shit.
not arguing that it's not epic. I'm saying that it doesn't make this whole film perfect. Okay? One
Okay,
fucking
no, I
scene in
can
this
agree with
movie
that.
isn't going to save this whole thing.
Right.
This thing doesn't have the pace of the first movie. This thing doesn't have the excitement and the action and the characters are more interesting in the first movie as opposed to this one. Like Han Solo actually grows.
Sequel,
This
man.
one he's
Like, what do you
stagnant.
want? It's
No.
a sequel.
That's not an excuse. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man grows so much more in the second movie than he does the first movie. If anything, your character's supposed to grow. The only character that really truly grows is Luke
And
Skywalker.
Luke doesn't grow at all in the second
I literally just said the only character that really grows is Luke Skywalker. The other movie, everyone grows. So it's more, you get more. This one, it's like
Han
Solo does not grow in this movie. Han
he doesn't
Solo
fall in love with Leia.
that doesn't make you grow as a person. He wants to get a piece of space
What the
ass,
fuck
and
do you mean it
she's
doesn't make
literally
you
the
grow as a
only woman in
person?
the rebellion. No, in the first movie, he goes from, I will leave you to die, better her than me, but at the end of the film, he goes, oh, well, I'm going to come save your ass. I got all this money, but it's the right thing to do. In this movie, he goes from
So
neutral to
you're telling me that there's no way that he could have just went and dealt with Jabba the Hutt instead of trying to get to Cloud City to get his friend to fix his.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the character of Han Solo has a complete arc in the first film. This film, he doesn't have an arc. He doesn't change. He's the same character. He's a straight line. When we get to Empire or Return of the Jedi, he's a straight line too. He's really not even necessary for that film, but it's great that he's there because he's cool. In this movie, he is literally a straight line. He is necessary to get Princess Leia just to get to Cloud City. He is just a pawn for Luke to come fight Darth Vader. He doesn't really serve much in the realm of the story. He's my favorite character. In the first movie, he is meant to be just a pilot to get them from Tatooine to the Death Star. Then his life is in danger, and he becomes a hero by saving the princess, by rescuing Luke, by doing what needs to be done. The next movie, he goes to save Luke one time, and then he's just a straight line. I'm just on the run. He doesn't grow as a character. He's a good character. I love Han Solo, but he doesn't grow. Nothing new comes out of his character. Just because he wants to get a piece of ass, that's just a male trait that we all want. That is nothing inherently special to Han Solo. We learn a little bit about his past, but that doesn't change who he is. Now, Lando's a cool dude, but Lando is a piece of shit.
Bringing up Lando's a perfect example. Yeah, obviously, Han's the one that changes the most in the first movie.
Yes.
Obviously.
Even
right?
Luke doesn't change.
But Luke doesn't change that much. But in this movie, it's about Luke changing.
But I'm just saying, when we're talking about overall, I'm not...
Right, I agree with that. I'm saying for you, the focus as far as the best character to develop in the first movie is Han Solo. Hands down. The next one, they're not going to do it again. They already have Han Solo. You know that he's a good guy. What more can you do to make him a good guy? The second movie is about Luke Skywalker on his journey to become. You know that that Han is the good guy. The reason why he's the greatest character is he maintains that character across the movie. He is already a good guy, but he has a woman come into the picture. He gets tortured. He could become a bad guy, but he chooses not to. His best friend comes back into it.
The tortured scene. Look, I love you to death, babe, but that tortured scene doesn't mean dick. It's not
It
really.
does.
It doesn't. What does it mean? He got tortured. He literally goes, "They didn't even ask me any questions." There's not like he's
the reason they picked him to torture and not Leia is because of his relation to Luke Skywalker.
No, it's not because they were going to.
Han Solo is the good guy in this movie.
No, he's not. Look, Han Solo
is the dude. He doesn't. Like I said before, I just said it. He doesn't have to change. You know that he is the White Knight in this movie.
But dude, you keep arguing that they tortured him because it'll draw out Luke. No, they torture him and Chewbacca first, and they were going to work their way to Leia, and they literally were like, "Hey, Luke is here. Well, get the chamber ready for Skywalker," because Leia's not that important to him.
But they torture Chewbacca at the same time, right?
They're not really torturing him per se. They're just he's in that room and they turn the thing on. We see Han go into that machine. We see Chewbacca have that thing, and then they bring him right to the room. All right, well, C-3PO is about to get blasted. C-3PO is not the most interesting.
Han's not the one that's changing. Luke's the one that... His character isn't supposed to change this movie. Luke's is.
No, dude, I'm not bothered that Luke is the one to change, but when you're why, if you want me to keep getting into why I think this movie is inferior to the original film, I'm trying to tell you. That's one of the reasons. We're talking, we got to judge these movies as movies. We're not worried about a saga. We're not worried about what could come in the future, like when we talk about Episode 7. You got to talk about what is on the film then and there, between the crawl and the credits.
But you have to make exceptions when they specifically reference previous parts of the movie.
What do you mean? I'm not arguing.
So when when they're referencing other parts, obviously, Luke's reaction to Obi-Wan is a reference to the previous movie. You have Han and Leia talking about previous encounters. They're referencing shit that happened before this movie. You have to take into account other things that happened prior to what you're watching on the film. That's why it's written so well. You take into account other things that happened prior to what's happening in front of your eyes.
Oh, I do. I do. I'm just saying. My problem is so many people get all worked up because of the fucking ending of this movie. The ending of this movie is fine, but it doesn't make up for every fucking thing in it.
I can agree with that.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, Empire Strikes Back is a great movie. I like it. I've owned it on DVD, VHS, Blu-ray. I always watch it.
Yeah, stop saying it. You don't have to tell me how great. We know that you love it.
You gotta understand every episode. Yeah, you gotta understand, every episode we make is someone's first episode of World Class Bullshitters, and I'm trying to save myself the damn comments where people go, you don't really like Empire because you don't watch it. You don't read the comments. I do. We get people that have never seen an episode of our show, and they talk shit, and then if they would watch other episodes, they clearly hear us talk about topics. That's why Augs for President is now our official fan club president, because that dude gets it. That dude knows what we're about. And that's why I keep reiterating certain points. Not because you need to know it. You're my best friend. You've known me for 8 years. You know me better than most people besides my mom and grandma. But the listeners don't know who the fuck we are. Everyone thinks we're these crazy racists because we don't put our faces on camera for a fucking podcast. Mark Maron ain't on a goddamn camera for his fucking podcast. You know who else ain't on a goddamn camera for their podcast?
Aaron.
Most other fucking people. We're fucking recording a podcast, and we're talking about Star Wars. Fuck you people that keep going on about DC Comics. Now, by the way, this last line, this "No, there is another," was meant to put doubt in your mind that Luke may win. Like, Luke may not win, It's not about,
Right. The good guy may lose.
Yeah, and that's exciting. That's the little kind of shit that makes me like this movie, because they don't have to put everything in your fucking face.
Well, not only that, but up until this, there aren't very many movies before Empire Strikes Back where the good guy loses.
No.
So
this movie looks beautiful. The fucking whatchamacallit, they just showed that matte painting of Cloud City. That was amazing. I do love that addition, but even so much so where, that point, it plants to see that he may lose, but the moviegoer is experiencing and expecting, Luke to overcome the odds and win. So him saying there's supposed to be another, and then you guys are like, as you're watching the movie, you're like, who the fuck cares? He's gonna overcome it. We don't need another. We got Luke Skywalker, and then he loses. That's what's so awesome. And I think it's a good thing. It's a good moral lesson about life. Sometimes you train for something and you lose, and if you come back, you win. Like Rocky. Rocky's the perfect. Listen, audience, if you ever want a movie that's going to be inspirational, just go watch the first 2 Rocky movies. You can go from anywhere in life. If you train and you make shit happen for yourself in life, you can go the distance. And if you go the distance and lose, you know what you do? You pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you go for round 2. Just like Rocky. Just like Luke Skywalker. He got his hand chopped off by Darth Vader. You know what? He comes back in the next movie even stronger, and he wins. So that's my little piece of life lesson to you right here during the Star Wars commentary. Don't give up in life.
You just got me all choked up, man. I might just go out there and start jogging just because you've touched my heart.
It's 9:41 at night. I want to go run a mile and drink another gallon of beer. Shh! I wish they could see your face.
Deal, motherfucker. Deal, we're doing it.
Does it bother you that only Leia changes her clothes, but no one else does?
It really does, actually, because it's like, did they just take their clothes off, shower, and expect their shit to be ready by the time they got back?
I know it's a stupid thing.
Shirt.
I know it's a stupid comment, but it's like in all the Star Wars movies, they never change their clothes. Like, you watch a James Bond movie, he changes his clothes each day. Star Wars, we're always wearing the same clothes, so the action figure sales don't, get affected.
Not only that, but you see Lando steal a motherfucker's set of clothes. He puts on Han shit. Isn't that Mustang Lando? Doesn't it smell a little bit like Han?
Do you think if you went to Han's closet, it would just be 20 hangers of the same shirt?
I think so, honestly, Hillary, those flappy shirts. Well, Dion, in defense of Star Wars, Lando's technically not wearing the same outfit that Han wore.
Right, it's supposed to be just
that style.
Other clothes
he might have been just wearing the outfit that was on the Millennium Falcon.
Right, it's just
movie.
It's just something that captains tend to wear. Clothes that don't, they don't wear a lot of flappy jackets, obviously, because it gets in the way. That part makes sense.
Here's my
It
opinion.
fucking looks like Han shit, bro.
Holy shit! This is the part that got me to go. Oh, this part's fucking sweet right here. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck.
That's why it's awesome because Han, he doesn't ask questions. He just starts shooting at Darth Vader.
Shoots first.
He shoots first, son bitches.
Well, like when Dustin goes on about, his first response is to shoot. It's always Han Solo's first response to shoot. Even in the first film, the original cut, he goads Greedo and then he shoots him.
Yep.
This whole he doesn't really become that character until this movie is just a bad argument.
Oh shit! It's like if you're gonna fucking try to get someone to smuggle you off of a planet that the Imperials are overseeing, you want someone that's gonna shoot a bad guy in the face from the jump.
Now, real quick, we haven't mentioned this character yet, Boba Fett. How do you feel about Boba Fett?
I love Boba Fett. I think that him, the fact that Vader shows him respect when he goes, and no disintegrations, because he knows specifically this dude, Boba Fett, will disintegrate a motherfucker and expect a bounty is amazing. I think that when you see Han, your first initial reaction when he goes off with the trash is like, damn, Han Solo was smart. And then you see Slave One turn and chase after him. That's awesome.
Well, you also know that a character that has that little screen time and makes that much of an impression is amazing.
Exactly.
People went nuts over Boba Fett when he first came out.
Especially when you see Lando cower, and then when you see Boba Fett is like, he's no use to me dead, man. Like, that's fucking awesome.
Okay, I always say I wish I could edit my own version of these films. If I could change Boba Fett's voice, that'd be the one thing I would fucking change, because I hate Tamara Morrison's voice. What's to say he didn't get battle damage and his throat got hurt and he had the old voice? He doesn't need to have the exact same voice.
But the fact that he's just, and again, I agree with the Tamara Morrison thing for sure. I would have preferred the original voice stay in there.
Jason Lindgren?
Yeah. But, I know, it made me so sad. But for him to just be like, so impactful that it's like we need to put, and obviously that's one of the few things that George Lucas had right when they brought him in the sixth one. But even here, you see the Imperials don't react, Lobot doesn't react, and Boba's just like, what the fuck, Lando? He's getting tortured, bro.
I don't really...
He's no use to me dead.
I don't really feel too bad for Lando, like the whole dilemma he's facing. I just feel like... I guess because I'm emotionally attached to the main characters. And that's why
I feel so bad for him.
I don't.
Lando
can suck a dick. I will say this though: Harrison Ford is the only white dude that looks cooler than Billy Dee Williams. Like Billy Dee Williams is a fly dude. Like I
could agree with that.
When you watch Batman,
Harrison Ford, yeah.
Like when you watch Batman, he is somehow slicker than Batman. Like ghosts and goblins when he's in the fucking Wayne Manor. Like he's a pimp. Harrison Ford is the only white dude. Albeit the only dude that can outclass Billy Dee Williams on every level. Like Han Solo's got that cool factor that just outperforms every dude in the galaxy.
But that's what I love about Empire Strikes Back is that the very, very subtle thing about this movie, everyone associates someone with a cape to be the good guy. And Lando has a cape when you first see him.
But Darth Vader has a cape, and he's the only person with a cape in Star Wars. Yeah,
but I'm saying established early on, he's the bad guy. You see him with a cape, but he's like a bad guy. You see another dude with a cape, you're like, he's great. He's the good guy. His face isn't covered. He's the good guy. But, then you see him turn on his friend, and you're like, God damn, like, you had a cape, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, really, realistically, everyone goes, Lando, you're wearing a cape, dude. How could you turn on your best friend? It's that cape, bro. We jumped 10 subscribers in a day today. All right, so...
Wait, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, that's a small amount for some people, but that's big for us. Anyway, so... Han, they didn't even ask me any questions. We got some Cloud City guards rolling in with Lando, my friend.
See Lando turn on the bad guys again. Like, listen, just fucking wait. He had to though. He's in a really shitty situation.
Why can't Lando pronounce Princess Leia's name? He calls her Layer, like Layer Cake.
He calls Han Han.
Here's the theory.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing about Billy Dee that pisses me off. It's like, it's Han and Leia, huh? Fucking Lando. Get it right, goddammit.
It's Han.
Goddammit, Billy Dee. Fuck.
Like
Billy Dee Williams, yeah.
his name isn't Han Solo, it's Han Solo, and everyone goes, "Well, they call him Han Solo in Empire." Well, he introduces himself as Han Solo, and everyone knows how to pronounce their own name.
Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Chewie here, tell me you're looking for passages of the Alderaan system. Indeed, if it's fast ship, you've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? God, I love that movie. I almost wanted to rewatch that and record another commentary track tonight, but we gotta get through the whole saga, man.
Listen. I'll tell you right now. You and I can do it again because we own this motherfucking channel. This is our fucking shit.
Goddamn
you
right.
and I are doing this. If we want to have 3 different commentaries of the first movie, fucking let's do it.
We'll do a beer drunk commentary,
Fuck 'em,
a liquor
dude.
drunk commentary, and a sober commentary.
You just sold me,
We
brother.
already did the liquor drunk.
You said, yeah, where you had. I will admit the funniest thing was when Hilly and I are sitting there. And is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Blah, he did it. He did it.
Dude, when you were like, "Are you okay?" and passed out and shit, and you kept messaging me, I just turned off my computer. Like, I remember being so drunk, I was like, "I can't do this," and I held the power button down. I was like,
It
"Fuck."
was so. It was so fucking. I think I looked at Hillary. I was like, he probably shut it down by now. So I was like, let's just end this shit right now.
Well,
It was
I've had 4 beers, and they're almost 9% ABV. I got some really strong New Belgium. I got this Rampant. So it's a strong beer.
I got New Belgium too, dude. I got the variety pack with Slow Ride, regular New Belgium, Flat Rider, the watermelon one, and then
I was disappointed with the watermelon one.
I told Hillary that you tried it. I couldn't remember what you said about it, so I got some with it in there. I'll check it out.
This is a really cool looking set. When I was a kid, they had a Star Wars fan club mail away where you could get this toy. I didn't get it, but whatevs.
No, I always, man, that same set. I was pissed I never got it. This is one I love this set of scenes so much.
Now, coming up, this is the scene where I think Darth Vader looks his coolest. I know I shit on this movie a lot, and it's not that I'm actually shitting on the movie. It's just it's a response to all the fans, good or bad, that think this is the epitome of Star Wars, the peak. And it's not. There's so much more to Star Wars that this movie misses the point of. The level of heroicism and action and adventure. This movie is like the middle, and the middle of the story doesn't always have that, and that's fine. But to praise this as like better than the original in every which way is just what I think is wrong. There's nothing that this one does explicitly that much better. And now we got the iconic line, "I love you, I know," which is cool.
This always pisses me off.
I like it. It's Han Solo, though.
I know, but it pisses me off, like, internally.
Well, okay, I could understand, like, if you were to say that to Dion, he goes, "I know," you'd be like, Jesus.
I'd be like, fuck you.
I'm putting my life on the line because I love you. Han gets lowered. Now, this is without a doubt the coolest fucking Darth Vader scene coming up. So Han's gonna get frozen. There's a lot of emotion. The music's about to hit a fucking crescendo. I know, Dion, you and I are about 3 seconds off, so we see C-3PO just says, "Turn around, I can't see." This is the scene where Darth Vader through the smoke. That is the coolest fucking shot in the entire saga. That with the music, boom, 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 boom.
Imperial March, yeah, man.
This is where the Imperial March kicks ass. It's cool in other scenes, but this is to me like the scene. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, it's the second only to obviously when it's a slow Imperial March when he says, "I'm your father."
I don't like that twist as much as I used to. I don't dislike it at all.
Obviously, because you're fucking 27 now, asshole. Of course you don't like it as much.
There's old guys that go on about Empire. Like Joel. Joel goes on about Empire Strikes Back.
I can see that with
He's
you.
900 years old. Oh, they frozen him. How the fuck are his hands up like that? And where do the shackles go? When he gets released in Return of the Jedi, there's no shackles.
That's the one thing that pisses me off.
It's just a continuity error.
So the continuity with the carbonite thing, I'm just like, God damn it, Irvin! You could have sent him notes to do for Return.
It's Richard Marquand's fault, and essentially it's George Lucas.
But still, Irvin, Irvin could have been like, listen, I made RoboCop 2 watchable. God damn it. Fucking put the goddamn shackles in there.
In his defense, RoboCop 1 wasn't even a thing at this point.
I mean, until 7 years later. I'll give you that.
We are 7
I'll give you
years
that. 7 years later, I'll give you that.
Even if it was 1 year before, I'd still give him the benefit of the doubt. Darth Vader is altering the deal. Pray don't alter it any further. It'd be a shame if I was have to leave a garrison here. You son of a bitch. I like how Lando.
He says that. Doesn't say it in this scene. He says that earlier in the movie.
I like how Lando grabs his throat though. Like, oh.
I was just gonna say that. Get out of my head.
Why don't you get off your board and out of my dreams and in my I watched or I heard some Billy Ocean music the other day and I thought of I Love You Man.
I'm glad because that makes us friends.
I wonder how cold the carbonite is.
Super cold. The only thing I worry about is like, what's it like? Because he had to have had like a bunch of nightmares. Like imagining someone being like, I imagine having nightmares and not being able to wake up. That's gonna be fucking crazy.
What if he just had really great sex dreams, but the carbonite couldn't let his dick get hard?
Oh, that's a nightmare. God damn it!
It's a sweet dream or some beautiful carbonite.
That's a nightmare. If your dick can't get hard, oh.
Hurry up, quicker.
Rather die. Kill me now, motherfucker.
Oh shit, Boba Fett. Princess Leia's about to originate the line, "It's a trap," that everyone tributes to Admiral Akbar.
For me, the little flame in the blaster hole in the wall, I always love that they left that in there. Because it's just like, yeah, these things will kill somebody. They remind you that, yeah, shit catches on fire when we shoot stuff in this universe.
Because everyone at this point, you get shot with a blaster, you're done. Instant death.
Yep.
No one has been hit with that guy that just grabs right there. That's what Boba Fett. That's the guy that plays Boba Fett. That Imperial officer that grabbed Leia. That's Jeremy Bulloch, the guy that plays Boba Fett. He's dead, I think.
No, he's dead.
Okay. All the Boba Fetts except Daniel Logan are dead.
And Tamara Morrison.
He's not Boba Fett. He's Jango Fett.
He's Jango Fett, but he's technically Boba Fett. God damn it.
Django Unchained.
Django Unchained. He's no use to me, dead.
I love the design of the Stormtroopers. They still hold up to this day.
They are way better than the fucking... I'm going to call them Stormtroopers from Episode 7. Way better.
Because the Stormtroopers in Episode 7 feel fat. Like, their armor makes them look too thick. And then all they do is, like, fly around. Like, people like to go, oh, the old Stormtroopers are so useless. No, nothing is as useless as an Episode 7 Stormtrooper.
Thank you.
All right, this is where the movie climaxes. We get the fucking lightsaber duel. Arguably the best duel. My personal favorite lightsaber battle. How do you feel about that? You like Return of the Jedi is the best, right?
Yep, that's my favorite, and then Episode 3, and then this one. So it's top 3. Not a Jedi yet. To see Luke, look at him, and then not change his gaze. To see your hero, he sees the ground before that he just came through close. He looks at his nemesis. He tells him you are not a Jedi yet, and he doesn't even look away from him. It's fucking epic.
You know what I think that a lot of people don't take into account is how new this universe is still to Luke, because he used to just live on a fucking desert planet, and now he's interacting with all this technology. All this shit is so new. This is still like sensory overload. He's probably never encountered anything like this before.
Let alone, even when he's fighting him, he throws him on the ground like a kid. It's just like it goes to move the character forward. Even if you say it's a few months, this is less than a year that he's in this whole war.
No, this movie takes place 3 years after the first one. It's established.
Oh, it's 3 years? Okay.
Yeah. Because then there's 1 year between Empire and Jedi.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure if they change the canon, someone will definitely correct us in the comments section. So don't worry, Dion. Don't worry. If we're ever wrong, somebody's going to tell us the right answer because, they know better than us.
Because America.
Because they started a channel. Last time I was so happy when we were drinking. This time I'm kind of irritable. I'm just pissed off about a lot of stuff.
Well, that's why I'm here to challenge your irritableness and make you vocalize it.
I'm pissed off because I don't have any goddamn Baconator fries, okay? That's the fucking problem. I want some Baconator fries.
See, that's what happens when I come down to Cincinnati and then I leave and then you're back to not having reasons to get Baconator fries.
Or the fact that I went to a nice steak dinner and now that I've drank a bunch of beers, I'm hungry. So, fuck my life, right?
That's why I'm glad I grilled earlier today because I can go get me some grilled shit and be like, I'm good, bitch.
Speaking of grilled shit, Lando Calrissian, man, I thought he was going to fucking snap his neck.
As a kid, I used to freak out, especially like the first few times I would see it, my mom would be like, calm down. Because with fucking Chewie choking him, I was like, it's okay, Chewie, he had no choice. My mom would be like, dude, calm fuck down. It's just a movie.
My mom hates this movie. My mom actually saw this movie before it came out in wide release. She dated a dude that worked at Kenner Toys, so she got to see this, I guess, about a month or maybe a few weeks before the general release. So I guess that's cool. She's always like, yeah, I saw Star Wars, the second one, before it ever came out. Which is weird because to a generation of people, this is Star Wars 2. This isn't Episode 5. Like, they just call it Star Wars 2.
Right. I can't remember how my mom saw it, but she used to tell me. She used to tell me, she'd be like, she always felt really bad. My mom's thing was always, how are you gonna do Han Solo like that? My mom was mad for years about how they did Han Solo like that. I was like, did you watch it? She's like, yeah, but I was so mad about how they did Han Solo.
People in my family still call him Harrison Ford. They're like, yeah, Luke Skywalker and Harrison Ford. Like he's such a character that transcends, or Harrison Ford transcends Star Wars, that he's not even Han Solo anymore.
Well, because the dude was Han Solo. He was fucking the president of the United States.
Dude, Indiana Jones is his iconic role.
I mean,
over Han Solo.
Damn.
Ah! Luke falls into a hole all too easy. That was cool. That was the first Jedi Force jump you ever saw in a film.
So much so that they referenced it in the books.
I never.
That's the thing I love too about this movie is that that's why I hate that. Oh, well, he was always gonna be Luke's dad. He fucking goes to freeze him, and then even when he jumps out of the carbonite, he takes a fucking swipe at him with a lightsaber. Come the fuck out. Look, if that's your son, you don't go, I'm gonna test him with a lightsaber. No, if you swing at a dude with a lightsaber, you mean to kill him. Darth Vader was gonna kill Luke if he couldn't grab him. That's what
for me, it was when they wrote the script, it wasn't the original intention. By the time before they even started filming it, I believe they had the whole "I am your father" thing written out. And they just kept it secret. But I completely forgot what I was going for. Just continue.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that there are so many points to which you understand why it wasn't his dad, but
George Lucas wrote the script, the whole script. He had no idea how successful it was going to be.
And we touch on that. I'm saying he wrote it out, but I'm saying when they made this movie, because when you watch the movie, you got to watch it as they made it, and the way that they film it, he made a lot of changes, and obviously he made a lot of changes because he went back and changed so much shit with the special editions. So even if he wrote it out as one long story, kind of like how they did The Matrix, he went back and made changes. So even here, where he writes that, Luke's father got killed, Darth Vader was the guy that killed him, it goes on that Luke redeems him and does all this shit, and he faces Darth Vader for the first time and loses. The intricacies in between those stories are what's important. So he originally wrote it that Luke was going to fight Vader, get the shit kicked out of him, and come back in the third one. What he didn't write originally was that Luke was going to fight Vader, lose, and be his son.
Well,
that's the thing that was different.
The big thing, too, is he did write it, but he had a team of people helping him make it perfect.
Right, after he wrote the whole story.
Yeah, which was the downfall of prequels, where he has had a bunch of yes men.
Well, Lee Brackett wrote the original story, and then I think, did Lawrence Kasdan come in for this movie? Yes, he did. His name's on the poster.
I thought he didn't come in to Return of the Jedi.
No, I have the poster right in front of my face. It says Lawrence Kasdan and Lee Brackett. Lee Brackett also died before this movie came out, so rest in peace, Lady Lee Brackett. I really don't know her. We're back on Cloud City. Well, we've always been on Cloud City. So this is the first Star Wars movie that ends with multiple things going on. In the first one, you had one central location. It was all about the Battle of Yavin. This one, it's between escaping from Cloud City and fighting Darth Vader. And then when you get to the third film, it's fighting Darth Vader, Battle of Endor, and the Battle of Endor on the planet. So, and then we get to Episode 1, and it's 4 places. It just keeps expanding. It's not necessarily...
Yeah, it's just, at that point, you realize how shilly written the prequels were.
Yeah, we'll definitely do those. I mean, I can't wait to get, really drunk, barely awake drunk, and just start crying about, dude, you should stay awake and keep drinking, and then after we get through Return of the Jedi with Nick, we should put in Episode 1 when we're completely blasted and see how you can...
Dude, that might be, unlistenable, because it's just going to be us.
That's why I wanted to record it!
But it'll just be us bitching about it until the Darth Maul fight. We'll just be like, This doesn't make any sense. Why is Jar Jar? Which again, I'm totally down for doing.
Don't close your mind to the possibility, because the more you drink, the better it sounds, and it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make that shit happen. Everyone's gonna be asleep, and you're just gonna be like, "Hey, why has Rick only got a shitty hairline?"
Why the fuck is this Jar Jar Binks stepping in dog shit?
Whoopee whoopee.
Whoopee whoopee. My tongue is stuck in her vagina.
I hate to say this, dude, but that part actually makes me laugh when they're like, "You have to pay for this." He's like, "That's $300."
But that's because I know your sense of humor, and just the premise of somebody doing that makes you laugh. So I don't judge you at all.
I think it broke me emotionally. Like, you know, like you have a breakdown.
You sound like an abuse victim.
Dude, we lived through the prequels together, man. They are not good movies. And okay, our friendship has expanded over the years. The one thing I'm very happy to say is that your views on the prequels have changed a bit. Like, I'm not saying I personally single-handedly changed them, but what I am saying is that you actually entertained the idea that they're not necessarily as perfect as other friends of ours would say they are.
Right. No, I think, especially since we became friends, I was okay with episode 2. I never was that big of a fan of episode 1, outside when my mom took me to see it.
Here's your favorite scene of the whole movie. Ready? 1.
Yep. Wait for it. Yep.
I'll never forget when we lived together at the apartment at Abbott Place. We were watching this one afternoon. We did the whole trilogy with Jake, and you just go, "Ah!" As Vader jumps out. Every time I watch this movie, I think you're going, "Ah!"
It's so, that's what I love about it, because it's so weird, but then it's just like, that motherfucker, he was going to cut Luke's head off. Like, he didn't hesitate. He was like, motherfucker. And it was like, oh, shit. Back up off me, Vader. Shit.
This part is so great right here, because Luke actually gets the upper hand for one moment, dude. Right here. Vader starts toiling them, and here we go. Here's the end. Oh, this is the only movie with an amputation that I'm okay with. I hate watching body parts and movies get cut off, but this is the only one where it adds to the story.
Not only that, but you see Vader talk shit. He cuts his hand off and he goes, "Don't make me destroy you." It's
yeah.
Awesome.
I like me now.
Me, and I will complete your training.
Plus, it's like, you see the fucking snake oil salesman here. It's just Vader combined so we could rule the galaxy. Come on, man, join me.
I'll never join you. I am white bread Skywalker. I am. Darth Vader's too cool to be Hayden Christensen underneath that costume.
I know. The only thing I will say about Hayden Christensen, he played a very immature
cunt
Darth Vader very well. He played an immature Darth very well. As America, he just told me he's his father. Luke's about to freak out.
That's not true.
Feelings. You know it to be true.
No! He looks like a chipmunk right here. Look at those teeth. Those are so buck right now. No! I had a car wreck. No!
Plus, imagine that dread that you feel, that you realize this dude cut your hand off. He tells you that you're his dad, that he's your dad, after he cut your fucking favorite hand off.
That's what I masturbate with.
I know, that's my masturbating hand. And he's just like, "I'm your dad." You're just like, so many feelings. Why'd you cut that off? You're my dad. I have a black eye. What the fuck?
And he's dead.
Yep.
What a twist would be if he just landed and then the movie ended with.
I will tell you, I always laugh when his hands are above his head and then one of them's a stump.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ha ha ha, Paralympics ass.
He got a bronze in the lightsaber duel.
Him and Oscar Pistorius are just living it up back in their condo. Pistorius, whatever, man. I've been drinking. Get off my back.
He did betray us, though. So you're not wrong. Oh, think about it. Think about it.
Think about it. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh, my God. So Luke is hanging on the weather main. His other hand is actually briefly visible right there.
Yeah, the small speck that's falling down in the core of the planet, which made me mad about the books because that was in the Grand Admiral Thrawn theories. Joruus C'baoth, the Jedi clone Jedi Master, surprisingly got his hand back and made a Luke Skywalker clone. I was like, did you guys go down to the core of the planet and get his hand back? What the hell?
It's some of the dumbest shit.
Yes, it's dumb. There are so many other reasons you could have came up with, but we found his hand at Bespin. I'm just like, even as a kid, I was like 16 when I finally read that book. No, I was like 15. I was just like, no, you fucking didn't.
My God, the Millennium Falcon is a beautiful ship.
It's awesome. Second only to the USS Enterprise.
Oh, second to none. Second to none. You and your goddamn Enterprise.
You love me for it, asshole.
I like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek more than the J.J. Abrams Star Wars.
No, well, I'll give you that.
That's true.
Sure.
I mean, that's not a...
I'm not... I won't argue. I know you do, too. I know you do.
No! Oh, wait, you do.
Also, what you also love Wrath of Khan, because you've watched it together.
Oh, I do love Wrath of Khan.
So
I may like that movie more than Return of the Jedi. I don't know.
It's the best Star Trek movie, too. So it's like... That's the bad thing about Star Trek. It's like, there are so many bad ones.
I don't know.
And there are a few good ones, but as far as overall capital, I feel like Star Wars has the better movies.
Well, no shit. You have 3 great movies. You have 4... Okay, you have 3 great movies, 3 bad movies, and 1 garbage movie.
Right.
Episode 7 is garbage.
And with Star Trek, you got 1 great movie, 2 good ones, and then...
Search for Spock, I think, is great.
Search for Spock
is terrible.
It's good. It's not great.
I love that movie.
I'm saying if you look at it as a film, like Search for Spock is very good, but as a film, it's like it's totally cuz plot Spock's alive.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like cuz plot, and it's like wait, but he fucking died from radiation poisoning, and you shot him to the planet in a torpedo. Like you couldn't pull that off of Star Wars. Motherfucker's dead. He ain't coming back.
Well, they found his
Qui-Gon Jinn got stabbed in the chest. You can go shoot him on a fucking torpedo and be like, he's back for episode 8. Hey, guys. High five. Liam Neeson. Welcome back, guys.
I would love that, though.
I would, too. But I'm just saying, it ain't going to happen.
Oh, Luke and Lando and Leia. There's a lot of L's on that ship.
A lot of L's in this motherfucker.
They're all losers in my book.
Lee 3PO. Lee 2D2.
Lee 2D2 sounds like a sweet name. Name your next kid Lee 2D2.
Done. Lubaka.
I don't know, that get confusing because we already called Dion D2.
Lubaka.
He does. He is D2. R2D2. We got a D2. He's got legs and he shits himself when he watches Paw Patrol.
When we were at the store buying beer, my mom was like, hey, there's a Paw Patrol bag. I should buy it for D2. I said, no, and we walked out of the store.
Oh my God, Hillary, Jeff's mom got so excited when she bought him. So I was like, oh, I love you so much, Mama Hicks, you beautiful white woman, you.
I can't believe we're at the end. Hey, did you... Okay, I'm watching this with subtitles. It says that Star Destroyer is 1 word. I thought Star Destroyer was 2 separate words.
No, it's 1 word.
I always thought it was 2 separate words. Star Destroyer. Oh, well.
It was all. I always I think it's 1 because of all the obviously because of all the books and shit.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Boom. I love you too, bruh.
Oh, Chewie's pissed.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Star Destroyer is 2 separate words.
I was gonna say that too, but the only reason I went with the books is because George Lucas and what's his nuts, Irvin, and then I think Richard signed off on a lot of the books too. A lot of them.
Richard Marquand, he had nothing to do with that shit, dude, because he didn't even finish Return of the Jedi. George Lucas stepped in and filmed a lot of shit in that movie.
Yeah, but I thought that he signed off on.
Richard Marquand Richard Marquand died a long time ago.
Yeah, but I thought he signed off on Courtship of Shut Up.
I don't think he lived that long. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Really, I thought that he signed off on a few of the books.
I don't know. You gotta
The
understand,
90s ones.
when you make a Star Wars movie, much like when you make... Yeah, Richard Marquand died in 1987. He didn't even make it to any of the novels. Because you gotta remember, dude, Return of the Jedi ended...
One is the first novel.
Yeah, the first bit... Well, technically, Splinter of the Mind's Eye is 78. But then you got a couple of the Han Solo trilogies, like at Star's End and shit. But when you get to that Star Wars novel renaissance in the 90s, which is what saved Star Wars, Richard Marquand was dead at that point. Yeah, he died at...
Gotcha.
He was, what, 50... He was 50 years old. Well, not even 50 years old. He was 49. I feel sorry that he's dead, but I don't care.
Well, the dude made episode 6. That's his mark on the world. Good job. Go ahead and pass on, bruh.
I honestly don't think he actually did as much work on it as we think he did.
Hell no. Because you saw Empire of Dreams. Even Empire of Dreams, George Lucas just wanted to get it done. He just wanted to get it done to hang out with his kids.
Dude, David Lynch could have directed Return of the Jedi.
Dude, seriously.
No. He turned it down to make Dune. Like, David Lynch would have made Return of the Jedi. He was like, oh, I'm going to make this movie. Oh, no, I got the opportunity to make Dune, so I passed it up. Biggest mistake in movie-making history.
Could you imagine that?
It would have been so much better.
He would not have signed off on the Ewoks at all. Let alone, I guarantee you, even as good as Luke's scenes with the Emperor, could you imagine David Lynch doing those scenes? It'd be fucking crazy good. He probably would have had the Emperor kill somebody.
One thing you gotta understand about Star Wars, Marvel movies, and everything else, while these creators and directors have some input, at the end of the day, you have to follow the established...
universe,
Yeah, so, I mean, you only have... Say you have 70% creative...
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
God damn it, Starfleet! You're fucking up Star Wars! So
random email.
Luke gets away. Admiral Piet is afraid he's going to get choked out, and the movie is essentially over. I like to apologize to the listeners. We really shit the bed on this commentary about midway through. We started talking about everything else.
That's true. We'll go back and do Liquor Empire Strikes Back.
Liquor Empire Strikes Back. Well, we got beer Return to the Jedi in a few minutes, so hey, whatever. I'm not as drunk as I want to be, Dion. Is that a problem?
That is a problem because you got to get drunk. Because I'm actually pretty good. I got some beers knocked away. I got food in me. I'm ready to get silly.
Get silly. All right. Well, here we go. Here's your favorite. There he is in the outfit from New Hope.
I do like the collar on that shirt. I'll be like, Billy D, God damn, you look good.
He looks like a cholo, dude.
Cholo.
That's the same outfit Han wore when he got the medal in A New Hope. Princess Leia's wearing the same dress.
The only thing is that shirt looks more peach, and then his shirt was white in A New Hope.
Gotta understand. No, his shirt was like a yellowish tan. We gotta look at the lighting.
That's a good point.
All right, Luke gets a new hand.
Yeah, he's going, ow. For some reason, whenever he says, ow, I just want to bust out laughing.
Look how the veins look on the hand.
Yep.
It's like, you can give me a hand that actually feels, but you give me plastic veins. Come on, 2-1B.
This is where they close the circle where, I
have a question for you. Why does Luke have a robotic hand in Episode 7? We know that they have the technology to replace the hand. Why wouldn't he just get another normal-looking hand?
Because plot, Jeff. Shut up, you womanizing, hating son of a bitch. If you had to choose
between a regular hand and a robot hand, what would you choose?
A normal hand, because I want to feel the sensation of touching.
Thank you. I want a woman to touch my skin and be like, hey, your hand feels real.
If I'm going to finger you, I don't want to accidentally rip your asshole out because I don't know how...
Hand,
what?
You have a real hand. Use that.
But if my dominant hand gets removed, I'm going to...
Thank you. It's his right hand that gets cut off.
Yeah.
Ambidextrous.
Your butthole's going to...
You're ambidextrous, you piece of shit.
Well, folks, this is the end of The Empire Strikes Back.
And it ends with me calling my wife a piece of shit.
Directed by Irvin Kershner. Well, no, that was the 5th film in the Star Wars saga. As always on World Class Bullshitters, we watched through the credits, so you know we're going to talk about it. I apologize in advance if I wasn't drunk enough for you, America, but I'm only 4 beers deep. But they are 8.5% ABV, so they're pretty strong beers. Suck a dick if you like Bud Light. Bud Light is garbage, okay?
What?
You know it's true, man. I can go Miller Lite. I can't do Bud Light. I want to fucking...
It makes me very happy that you don't like Bud Light, because I'm just like...
It's garbage! It's garbage!
It tastes like piss water, bruh.
You know, now's a good look. All of a sudden, the booze hits me at the end of this movie because I want to start yelling at shit. Fuck you, Norman Reynolds.
Fuck you, Jake Meyer, for drinking Bud Diesel. You piece of shit.
Shashitsky. That's a cool name. And Paul Hirsch, he edited the first movie. No, Empire Strikes Back is a great movie. I really don't have any. Okay, it's not as good as the first one for me, but I enjoy this movie thoroughly. I think the designs of the characters are great. I think the score is great. The special effects are great. The lightsaber duel is the best lightsaber duel. I don't connect with it the way I do the first movie, and that is why I always rate the first movie as the best movie.
I don't think there's ever going to be a moment where you can be convinced that Empire is better than A New Hope, because that's, like you said, that's how you were introduced. You were introduced like, if you could trap a Star Wars fan in 78, that's who you were. You're not going to be able to overcome that amazing first grasp of the universe. Like, for you, that was like a punch in the chest from a fucking bodybuilder. You can't ever get punched in the chest like that ever again. It's amazing to you. Nothing's going to happen to that again. For me, it's like, I saw the end one first, and for me, it's just I get how it can be better. For you, you saw it how the world saw it. So there are so many people in this planet that see episode 4 as being better than 5. It's just, you can't, the first entry in the universe, you can't fight that, man. You just can't fight it.
And one thing, Dion, though, in my defense, I have fluctuated between what is my favorite Star Wars film. Like, at first it was the first one because it's the only one I knew of. Then I really loved Return of the Jedi. Then Empire was my favorite. And now, after years and years of being a Star Wars fan...
I'll take credit for you liking Return of the Jedi. I'm going to take credit for that from the jump.
But you can't, because I liked Return of the Jedi way back into 1997.
Shh, they don't even know that. They don't even know that.
I apologize in advance. No, I'll give you the credit. No. Like I said, I enjoy all 3 of the original trilogy. Obviously. I don't dislike any of those movies, but the only one I want to watch repeatedly is the original, dude. Like, it's, to me, you talk about the perfect movie, it's got everything. It's not my favorite movie because of the stupid special edition changes. My favorite movie is Back to the Future. That, to me, when you talk about the perfect movie, Star Wars is my second favorite movie. It's Back to the Future, Star Wars, Die Hard, Beverly Hills Cop, Big Lebowski, Hot Fuzz, Ghostbusters. It goes down to where it's less and less, I'm just naming off movies I like, National Lampoon's Vacation. But Star Wars has a special thing. And the funny thing is, for as much as our friendship is based on wrestling, it's the foundation may be wrestling, but the rest of the support beams are Star Wars and all the furniture in that house. Star Wars is so important to us on so many levels, and that's why I get so into it, And one thing that bothers me is, I guess maybe I'm being a little, I'm not going to say selfish, because selfish isn't the right word. Maybe I'm being a little less forgiving, but I genuinely can't see why people don't think the first one's the best one. I guess I just don't. I can't have that same train of thought as they do. It genuinely bothers me that people go, "Oh, the prequels are so great." No, they're fucking not. They're bad movies on so many fucking levels. I genuinely feel like you're an idiot if you like those the best. They're not as deep as you fucking think.
Right. That for sure is different, because
that's the beer talking.
There's obviously it's, you cannot look at the prequels and be like, "Yep, he thought this one out." But I understand why, because like I said, when we talked about our best Star Wars moment, no one could convince me that any moment in the prequels is better than the original. No one. I don't care.
When Samuel L. Jackson and what's his name, the little one, when
Yoda.
When Yoda flies in, and the rest of the Jedis jump out, then you know how bad those assholes were.
That's more important to you than Luke facing Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
You are full of it right now. There's no way.
You know who the Jedis really were.
But the only reason that you understand the concept of the Jedi is because of the fucking prequels. There's no way. If they made Attack of the Clones its own movie, you would be like, okay, they say Jedi a bunch of times. They're the good guys. I get it. but you know the gravity of the Jedi.
But I always, when I first saw it,
But I'm talking about
40-something-year-old nephew
Oh, Lord.
took me to see the Star Wars. It wasn't until I saw the prequels that I really understood who the Jedis were.
But Mom, what I'm saying is, as far as Star Wars in the order it was released to the world, you knew who the Jedi were from the other movies. You knew the movie was called
But I didn't
Return.
know how badass they were.
Right, but I'm saying you knew that they were the good guys. You didn't need to know how badass they were because you knew, because of Return of the Jedi, because of A New Hope, that these guys at some point were like the King Arthurs, they were the knights of the universe.
Round table.
Right, you knew that's who they were. Yes, I'll give you that Attack of the Clones, gave you a visualization of that, but you didn't need that to tell you these dudes were the men in the universe who kicked ass.
Well, folks, this has been the end of Empire Strikes Back. The movie is far over at this point. So thanks for listening, and check back next week when we review Return of the Jedi, the final chapter in the Star Wars trilogy.